the development of the unit, but this is an actual totally joint effort because you get tons of feedback from everyone when you work on it, and every step that you post, you get a lot of ideas and opinions, and then you iterate a lot on it. It's an actual very humbling experience, but in the end, I think the result was pretty good, and a lot of people liked it, so I'm pretty happy with it.
Did you have any interesting conversations, any interesting designs that you loved but couldn't go with when it came to the new Thug?
I did. So you start with a lot of ideas. So I get a lot of iterations on it. First, 2D concepts, and then you get to a rough model. I had a bunch of ideas, but Protar and Tharsis, which is the 3D lead, they gave a lot of feedback on the direction. I think that was immensely helpful. This is kind of my first time actually working on such a team in an art department. But there was a lot of ideas already for the Thug, especially coming from Protar, I guess, from the new direction for the design. And then I just went with it, and then you add some details here and there, and some of them work. Some people like another, but then people say, no, this really need to change, and then you go and then you iterate a lot, and then you end up what we got.
Very nice. Were there did you ever try and sneak any sort of signature or any sort of funny image or anything like that onto the Thug model and see if it passed QA?
No, not really. I didn't try. I didn't try to do that. But I did put some ideas of mine in some parts of the unit, and I think there was two versions that we got with, and then one of them actually got into the game, but then there was some issues on it, especially the animation. And also with that in the game, we got a lot of community feedback on it, and then some things we reverted back. I think one of them was the feet. So I think the feet in the first version was completely different than the old Thug. And I think people kind of resisted that a little bit, although we kind of changed it to resemble a little bit more than how was the old Thug there. So I think if you look at the feet now, it has the classical traditional two fingers of the feet, uh, which is nice. But I didn't add anything.
We'll definitely keep an eye out on there, and we'll refrain from asking the chat about questions about feet. I never know what we'll get from that one. I heard that your upcoming project is going to be the Legion Navy. What are you most excited to bring to bar with the Legion Navy?
So I particularly am working now on two submarines there. So on one submarine of the Legion, and I think the constructor ship too. But I think I'm gonna put it to Protar maybe to talk a little bit about in general of how the Legion's going to and the Navy is going to.
Fair enough. All right.
Well, that would be probably just to be able to actually tell all the folks being excited that there will be a day where Legion Navy and Legion in general will be completed. But yeah, there's some good stuff coming up. But yeah, please feel free to go ahead, Jack.
Oh, sure. Now I am actively working on one of the subs. So I did some 2D concepts on them, and we are kind of iterating over it, and they are coming up together. But we already have a lot of very exciting models that the other people from the team did, and I think we are all looking forward to have them done and look into the game.
Fair enough. And I guess to round this one out, so that we're not making everybody sit there and wait their turn too long. Do you have a favorite unit in bar? Please don't say the duck.
I actually I originally started playing a lot of Armada, and I think people on the team will have some words on that. But then when I started working on Cortex and the Thug, I think Cortex grew a lot on me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the Thugs is the one that I had. It was very cool. I really enjoy working with it, looking at using it in the game. But I like a lot the Fiend
Mm-hmm.
when we get to the T2. So I think the Fiend is a very cool unit as well.
You're going to be
what
Tank Tom's best friend. That's his two favorite units: the Thug for T1 and the Fiend for T2. That's all he would build when we first started playing this game.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, and we're looking forward. We're kind of reworking all the units there too. I think there are some ideas to go also to the Grunt. I think the Grunt is also a very cool unit. The ones that you use the most, I think.
There's definitely something about the art style. All three factions have an incredibly strong direction. Cortex is boxy and functional, and as though they've sort of really they haven't tried to give it any sleek angles or anything along those lines. Then you've got Armada, which is it's that next tier up where they're going. It feels like they're going for form and function, and then Legion is just that next level of like, yeah, this is the future faction. We're coming for you, and we're looking good while we do it.
Well, funny enough, it's actually supposed to be slightly different in perception, but yeah, that's probably also due to just the how long ago the like former or the older models were done.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it comes across as something different, like you laid out there. But actually, if we are at the point where we are able to share the future direction for like Cortex and Armada and the overhauls that are planned and we are working in the background on, then you'll probably see that yeah, Armada is together with Cortex way more up there in the technological side of things compared to Legion being the almost utilitarian Daka underdog faction, basically.
Okay, I guess I'm just thrown because the Soul Invictus just looks so sleek.
Yeah, that's true. Zephyr did an awesome job with that one. Yeah, not surprised you're thinking the way you do, looking at the Soul.
It's almost like it's my favorite unit, so it sets an impression.
I will make sure to relay that to Zephyr, of course.
Thanks. Alrighty then. Aurora, you've been sitting patiently and enjoying this conversation. For those of you that don't know, Aurora is one of the newer devs that's been working very heavily in the moderation and reporting systems. So if that's been running smoothly for you, then you have Aurora to thank. Some of the topics that I've been briefed a tiny bit about is the report buster, as well as which is the improving the flow of reports through Discord. I've also
Ray, I'm going to jump in.
Yep.
You were actually AFK. I had a chat with Aurora before.
My apologies.
So I've gone through a few of the questions. I was trying to play at the same time as well, so I was a terrible interviewer. Maybe you can touch on some of the later questions, but I've just gone through a bit of an intro to Aurora, and then we got cut off by my lack of APM skills.
No worries. Well, in that case, questions that I can definitely run straight to. How do you balance the moderation tools in game compared to keeping them simple enough for moderators to use? Because if it's anything like tools I've used in the past, the better they are, the harder they are to learn.
Can you? I'm a little bit confused about the question in game. So I'm mostly working on the website and Discord part of the TEI server and the moderation part of that, but I'm not really doing anything in the game.
Fair enough. My apologies. I've only been given a small brief on this one, so I read that as though it was in game. So I guess the question is, with your moderation outside of the game, what sort of changes have you made to make the process more user friendly internally and externally?
So I've a few changes that I've done internally without going into too much detail, but certain reports are linked to each other when they are for the same game, or like are treated together or like as a group. So one previous change I did was that we had links to other reports that were treated as a group. So that obviously makes it easier to find other reports related for people working on the reports. Yeah.
Fair enough. So you've been working on essentially making. I wouldn't call it archiving, but I would call it, I guess, system engineering, so that then the information is where you need it when you need it.
I guess, yeah, I make it easier to access information. And another thing that I've implemented in the past was a command here in the Discord that would allow the people handling tickets to find the reports attached to the actions more easily.
Nice. So what got you into bar and the bar community, and what got you into your role managing this?
So I started playing bar in the beginning of the year with due to a few friends who introduced me to the game. And eventually I joined the Overwatch team, where I then found some glaring issues with how things worked that I personally was bothered by a lot. So I thought I gotta fix those.
I like that. I definitely like that. Myself and Tank Tom are in the problem-solving business as well, and I can definitely see any role I've ended up in the past is just, oh dear lord, how is it running? Why is it running like this? And then trying to fix that one up. What was the defining issue that you just said, nah, it's too much, this has to change?
I mean, I originally started just with the Report Buster bot, which is for internal functions for report handling. I started helping on that because it has a feature that was very janky, and I want to improve on that. And from there, I got told by Lexon that I should rather implement some features into the TEI server bot instead of that, because it would just have easier access to stuff.
Okay. And then, do you still get time to play the game now that you're working in the community?
I definitely will play the game way less. But that is more due to me being very interested in actually doing development stuff, and not that much in playing video games at the moment.
I mean, when you find the part of a game you like, it's I have no question that I would be doing the same if I found something like that. Got one final question, and please don't name names if just for it. But what are some of the craziest bug reports or the craziest things you've come across whilst making these changes, whilst working in the system?
The craziest thing so far that I've came across that happened lately, it wasn't a bug report. Oh well, it was something that we noticed internally, because features were just not working anymore suddenly. And so I started investigating, and in the end it turned out Discord changed how the API worked without documenting it.
Oh no!
And there was and that there's a bug in the library for the bridge that we're using, which lets the bridge silently or parts of the bridge silently fail. In that specific case.
Yeah, I can't say that I've worked on anything quite like that where a piece of software has changed how it works. Okay, who is pinging? I need you
Come
guys
on,
to stop
guys.
pinging.
We've got someone in the middle.
Yes,
and
I know,
everyone
but you
is-
need to stop pinging, guys. That's not something we can do.
We'll just kick
If you
whoever's pinging.
Yeah.
we need
If you
to.
press backspace, you can completely mute the game.
That is. That does not work for me.
not working.
Oh.
Can we remove
That is
the-
unfortunate.
Okay. Master is going to. Oh no, I think it did work. It just took a while because there were so many pings queued up. All right.
Yeah.
Look, we do appreciate you coming and having a chat with us. It's really interesting getting to know the devs and the community managers and everyone working on the game. I'm going to jump over to Florus, who is one of the OGs, has been with Bar since the very beginning and has decades of experience working on the Spring engine. I hear that you've been absolutely instrumental with UI development, widgets, gadgets, and in particular helping the game look and run great. So for those of you that don't know him, Florus.
Hello, I'm Flores, also known as The Flow. Decades would be a decade too much. I'm basically working a little over a decade, but yeah, Bar started at first like 2000 and I'm not sure, 2012, like the first models being made on the forum, but we really restarted it in 2019. And I've been trying to daily do something for Bar for over a decade, and it paid off. I'm really glad. It runs really performant now compared to a few years ago. Like these games with King of the Hill weren't possible before.
Look, if you made King of the
and,
Hill possible, you have all of my thanks, because I'm someone that struggles a bit with getting into PvP, but PvP like this feels like PvE because it's such an asymmetrical gameplay, and so you get to enjoy the player versus player interactions without the pressure of something like a 1v1 or an 8v8. So all the work has turned into something absolutely spectacular from my point of view.
Yeah, this really reminds me of the game mode like Raptors or Scavengers. First, when we restarted Bar, we didn't have a community yet, or not large enough, and we developed basically those game modes, and to continue on, and then eventually we we got popular again, and we exploded with all the team games again, and I'm really glad to see something like King of the Hill being celebrated by and played by, enjoyed by so many.
Well,
And the interface and all the stuff, the engine and the game handling so much people. It's just amazing.
It's absolutely incredible. I grew up on StarCraft, on Age of Mythology, on Age of Empires, a lot of games like that, and I never once thought that I would end up in a game where I would just be able to put up to over 100 people in a lobby and just press go. The feat that you guys have managed is pretty incredible, even considering that the game's reasonably locked to a single core. The effort and the efficiency that's gone into that must be absolutely insane.
Yeah, it's especially it's just a very iterative process. Every time we reach a new limit, we had to find out where the bottleneck was this time. And at first, it was just loading in people that we had something that took that eats some CPU processing. But you don't find that normally, because if you have 16 players or maybe 32, it could still handle it, but more it would just lag people out and stuff.
So, are you telling me that King of the Hill is basically like a beta test and testing ground for the engine?
Sometimes it is, but honestly, we started it with all the Discord like 30K, 40K, 50K members celebrations. So
Fair enough. I was going to ask you what your most rewarding, experience has been, but from what you've said, it sounds like the community rebuilding as well as the game expanding to the point right now is right up there. So I guess I'll ask what the most rewarding challenge has been that you've had to overcome.
there's so much, but I think just
A crippling heroin addiction, probably.
Sorry, are you Australian? I heard some Australian humor in there.
Oh no.
That's right. You can be an honorary one for today.
That sounds good. Since you talked about spiders anyway, so.
Oh dear, yeah, those are a little on the scary side in Australia. I was watching the Rookie and guy crawling through the underside of a house with spiderwebs, and I'm like, yeah, you wouldn't do that in Australia. You wouldn't do that in Australia.
Oh, by the way, since you talked about like being more on the PvE side of things, I think we got Chris in here, who is also a very new contributor and is working together with us, getting some really cool stuff done for Raptors.
Ooh, I do like Raptors. That's actually what got me into Twig was like, got this great game, and I was like, oh no, not more PvP. But Raptors was the thing which really hooked me. I like PvE, and I really liked the Raptors game type because you could set it as difficult or as hard for the challenge that you wanted. So I guess we can pull Chris into this one if you're alright with breaking the interview in the middle, Flo, and we'll jump back to you after Chris has had a bit of a go.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're
make
good.
things really tricky for you. Things have been happening in the background, and Chris has actually just forwarded me a bunch of his what look like really interesting sketches for Raptors. I don't know if you're able to somehow
I can do
capture
that.
those.
Can you send those to me, Twig?
Yeah, just flicking them to you now.
Which chat?
We'll go to our usual.
Yep. Excellent. All right, let's see if I can make these ones show up in stream. Give me just a couple of seconds, and we'll see if we can change the source of this one. Just be aware that this could go horribly wrong.
Oh yeah, why am I encouraging this after the start to this stream?
There we go. All right. So just to introduce Chris, from what I've been told, one of the newer artists on the bar team, but despite being a recent addition, Chris has made a huge impact. It sounds like your eye for detail is on a next level, same with your creative vision. Worked on standout unit concepts in the Legion faction, so I'm going to ask about those a little bit later. And as mentioned, breathing life into the new, into Raptors. So I'm seeing the first concept at the moment, and it should be up on stream as well. Apologies that it's not in something fancy, but this is what I've got.
That's okay, man. It's all good. A little last minute. I'm sorry.
No. Trust me, I'm super happy about this because whenever Twig isn't at my back with a whip to make content, I try to play a Raptors game. So this is probably going to be my even more exciting than the King of the Hill parts of tonight for me.
Yeah, sweet. Yeah, no, thanks. Yeah, I love the Raptors, man. I heard you mention earlier as well as that PvE mode is kind of what really tied you into the game a little bit, brought you in, and that's what's been the case for me as well. Really getting into the Raptors. So it's been a real fun thing and a real passion for me to be able to get to work on them like this. It's been real fun.
That's absolutely awesome. what's the first image we're seeing there? So if you've still got that Discord message up, I'm just going to go through them in order.
Yeah, let me get that message pulled up real quick here, so I have that for you. Okay. So they're not all entirely in order. I just kind of sent them all over. But so this first one, if I remember, it's just the 3, and they're starting smaller and getting bigger to the right, correct?
It is. They definitely are. Is the idea that over the course of the match, the small ones are going to get chunkier and harder to kill?
Yeah, so these are just some rough sketches. They're really, really rough. What these are going to be is just kind of the general silhouette, the profile of some of the units as they get bigger, as you correctly assumed, was just as they grow in their level and their tiers. They will change visually in their aesthetics. They will become more defined by the element type that they are. So in the game, the Raptors right now are in a state that they kind of look like a big bowl of M&Ms that just been poured out. You have your really bright green ones and your red ones and your blue ones. And so we wanted to go with something that's a little bit more visually distinct for what the different units are and what their functions are. So this is just some preliminary kind of playing with what the very basic unit is, which is the Swarmer unit. And this is just playing with some of the different shapes that we can go with, and seeing what we could go with it. And there's some artwork later down the line that shows the actual artwork for what the design that we nailed down and are currently actually modeling with our great modeler Rubus. He's done some great work, and he's tried to do some work with the Raptors in the past. And we have him on a small team right now of Protar and me and Rubus working on these, creating some awesome work. And I can't wait for you guys to see what Rubus is making, and also what some of the ideas Protar has for the different elements. It's really exciting.
I love how you say that.
Please note that this is still work in progress and not yet been officialized. So
look, I just love that you're saying that this is super rough. For those of you on stream, I'm just gonna flash up my super rough drawing. You've created something pretty awesome. So I even in that sort of state, I can see exactly what you're going for, and even if it's not representative of what comes out, just the fact these are your concepts tells me that you've got this well in hand.
Oh, thank you. You flatter me.
All right, I've popped onto the
second I reckon
image.
my daughter could do that image you did.
Yeah, there you go.
I've popped onto the second image. These guys look a little bit bigger and a little bit scarier, and the muscles look a little bit more defined.
Yes, so this is a lot closer to what our vision is, or at least what my vision is for where to go with these. So the idea was kind of going with a more beastly, leaning into that raptor aspect, using the musculature to kind of just really show the beastliness that these guys are meant to be. It's interesting trying to find a balance with going with swarm creature and not falling swarm reptile insectoid creature and not falling into the rut of what's been done with things like the Tyranid or the Zerg.
Yep, I was gonna say, these guys, you've managed to make these guys look distinctive. I was gonna ask how you're avoiding things like Zerg and Tyranid, but the fact is, with the that was in one of my prep questions. With this artwork, I can see how you're avoiding it.
Yeah, no, it's been really hard. They're such strong design languages, and they're very powerful and very easy to read right off the bat. The Zerg and the Tyranid, and one of the things that we identified was particularly the head shape was one of the main drivers for that. The Tyranid have that kind of weird kind of elongated roundish head, but then it has the plating on the top.
Yep.
Yeah, the
Yep.
carapace on top of it. So, and then a lot of skeletal features. They do a lot of ribbing.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Zerg, they just decided, you know what, screw all that. Let's just do the carapace part and make it look like some really weird bugs with teeth. And so I kind of was just like, okay, well, what's kind of that area they didn't really go? And it was some of that more muscular, and maybe what if we were to try to sleek it out and go more of this draconic dragon kind of feel and see where that goes. Maybe lean more to the reptilian a little bit and see where that goes. And this is kind of what we've got so far. So we got on the left, you got the brawler unit. That one's a lot more rough and currently in the works. But the brawler, he's your typical big boy, gonna take all of the damage and hopefully deal a lot in return. And then on the right is more of the swarmer unit. And they're about the size that they should be in comparison to each other.
Oh, nice. I do like it when drawings end up being size accurate, and I can definitely see that I want my D gun for the one on the left.
Yeah, that one's giving me.
But when these little guys on the right start swarming you, man, you might change your mind.
I got flamethrowers for that. It's fine. All right, let's have a quick look at the next one. Looks like these ones again are some earlier concept phases. I can see a bit of a change between these two. The sharper face, the bigger teeth. It actually has a bit of an evil grin on the left.
Yeah.
And then the one at the top looks to be a bit of a stalker stealth type raptor. Only the silhouette to be seen. That's definitely not just early stage artwork, right? That's intentional concept.
Yes, so that's intentional concept. So that's totally just to be the side profile of the big guy on the left. But who knows? Maybe I can make that a little soccer thing just for you. We can see.
Oh no! If you're planning on doing that one, I have the perfect drawing.
Oh yeah, send it my way, man.
Alright, it looks like we've got a bit of a color sketch as our next one. This looks quite like a face, and a face with a big horn that I feel like is going to be a problem for the comms.
Yeah, maybe just a little bit of a problem. Yeah.
Any inspiration around these ones? The color palette is much brighter than we normally see anything from other sort of swarms.
Yeah, so this piece was actually one of the first things I did for the Raptors. I just kind of wanted to get a feel as to possibly kind of what they could really look like. Just kind of a small like little sampler, a little bite as to what they could taste like or look like. And since the Raptors are already so visually colorful for the function of being identifiable for what their purpose is, it's like, okay, well, how can we lean into that while still looking good? And in inspiration, I've done some work and learning from a guy named Hardy Fowler. He's a concept artist I've taken mentorship from, and he just has this beautiful shade of blue he always uses, and it always evokes a very strong, it can be an intimidating color, but also a very oddly soothing.
Like
I really like that blue, and I wanted to play with that blue. And I know there's blue Raptors, and so I was like, okay, well, let's see what they are.
If the Raptors end up looking like this, I will be super happy because these look absolutely great. The only thing is, you'll have to make some sort of change to the general settings so that I'm not blue team.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, we'll have to fix that probably.
All right, let's jump on to the next one. These guys are much more. These ones look more exoskeleton-y than the previous set.
Yeah. So these are, again, some more of the preliminary sketches, just really trying to figure things out. From A to B to C, this was just kind of figuring out the swarmer. If we want to go big and spiky, or if we want to be small and scuttly, if that makes sense. and we kind of felt it was a mix between A and B, and the mixture gave us the swarmer that we saw in the second image.
Yeah, I actually am I'm just gonna quickly flash back to the swarm real quick. I'm a big fan of the aesthetic you've put together. You've made something that's this is a quite a unique thing. I love the little secondary arms underneath the dragon-like tusks. I like the direction that you're going in.
Thank you.
Jumping to the next one. Oh, there we go. This is another picture of the swarmer.
Yeah.
And a bit more of an advanced one. It looks like some armor on the left side. The tail looks like it's going to have some bone plating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the one on the left is more accurate to what the actual thing is, or what I'm hoping it's going to end up looking like for the tier 1. On the right was just kind of more to show the musculature, showing kind of what the underneath everything was. And so it would be the base that we can add all the plating and all the different details on top of, which will become more and more pronounced as you get larger and more into the higher tiers, to give it that distinction of its purpose and what element or type that the role it's trying to fit.
Sorry, I'm looking at the images and you mentioned as they sort of tier up, they're going to be, they get larger. You're going to be expanding on this concept. Is that sort of what this next slide is about? It looks to be a whole range of, in fact, some of these even look slightly mecha, like the top one on the right. Is this that expanded vision you have?
Yes, so yeah, this is some of the expanded vision for maybe the more larger and the broader scope for the whole faction. The third from the left on the bottom row is kind of where that swarmer's from.
Yeah.
From that more little stalkery kind of thing. And above it would be more like the mortar. On the right of the mortar would be kind of the flying units. They have some of that mechanical look just because of the nature of the marker brush I used. Mm-hmm. So they look a little bit more hard edged. So they'll be softened out and look a lot more organic. But yeah, this is just playing with some of the directions we could go with some of it. Some maybe lean into more insectoid or lead into more brutish. We'll see.
I look forward to seeing the differences, and the one that I'm really looking forward to is seeing how you adapt the queen into a entirely new concept. Because as it stands, it is quite similar to a lot of the other models. So I hope that it ends up being something quite unique. And you mentioned you called it another faction. Does this mean that this is a world first where I can confirm Raptors are going to be a playable faction in game, or am I reaching way too hard?
I cannot confirm. I can tell you what I personally hope is I would love for it to be playable. But again, that's up to the higher ups. They're the ones that hold the whip over me. And I'm new here, so I don't hold any weight. So.
Hey.
One of my all-time favorite moments in Bar was during the 50k event. I was turned into Raptors along with Twig and Tank Tom and got to fight against everyone that was there, which was an absolutely amazing experience. So I, for one, will be keeping a really close eye on the Raptors as we go forward, and hopefully we'll see more and more of this concept. And if we get the opportunity in the future, once it's a little bit more along and you're happy to reveal it, hopefully I can convince you to give us the world exclusive, and maybe even if it's in game, let us show it off on stream. I'll definitely be gunning for something like that.
Absolutely, man. I'd love to do.
I'm going to ask a couple of questions, sort of a little around the Raptors, if that's all right. And I think the most important one is, have you had
how we go about the feet, right?
No, we're not talking about the feet.
If anyone has any non-related feet questions in chat, feel free to drop questions throughout the night for these guys.
Yep, I
into
should have said
either
that.
the Twitch or the YouTube.
I definitely should have said that from the start. So I guess the one of the questions I want to know, have you had any projects where you've been trying to make a certain unit type or anything along those lines, and you just can't get it right? And what do you do about it's not writer's block, I guess, but it would be artist's block.
Yeah, I still get that even now with
Yep.
with doing the Raptors. So before doing the Raptors, sorry, I have some roommates. They just told me to quiet down a little bit. I got a little.
We
Tell me
know
about
that.
it. I've
We
got
know
a
that.
wife and a child that do the same. Mine are a little bit more stern though.
So I'm just in the corner huddling in the dark, trying to keep it quiet. Keep that mental image as much as you want. So with the Raptors, so I've been doing a lot of work with them, and that's been an interesting challenge for me because there's a mix sometimes of, am I capable enough to do this, and that kind of gets in the way with being able to be art block. Yeah.
Just gonna flash this one back on stream. That's a solid yes from me. This thing looks awesome.
Thank you. Yeah. So yeah, there's times where that gets in the way, and you just have to work through that. It's something that all artists deal with to a large or smaller extent, and it's just you learn a process of, this is a problem, and what we do as creatives is solve problems. So if you approach it from that mindset and go, okay, what is it that's bothering me? What is it that's not working? And what is it that my purpose is with this? And you can nail those things down and really just push through, you'll make it. And that's some lessons I've learned when I've done some work with the Legion stuff as well. That's where they initially started me off with doing kind of a rework of, or at least trying to do some redesign of what the Helios unit would look like. The T1 skirmisher tank from the Legion. I did quite a few variations for it. And just kind of learning from that process that, don't be afraid of the process. If you're doing a lot of work over and over and over again on the same thing, that's okay. You're doing your job. You just go with it.
Yep. No, it's I'm glad you have that sort of mentality, because as people would not have heard when things went wrong on stream, I certainly put my mute on and made a lot of noise. So yours is a much healthier approach to dealing with problems in game. Final question I have for you: where do I need to look in game once you've put out the Raptors to find your signature or some sort of hidden memes? Is it going to be the Queen's stomach? Where are you going to hide your secrets?
Ooh, I haven't thought about that.
All-terrain unit will ultimately be wearing high heels. I would go for that.
There you go.
Oh my god, Halloween Queen in high heels. That would be
yeah.
That'd be next level.
Yes.
Are we on the feet again?
We never left the feet, unfortunately, no matter how much I tried.
I made it my mission to make this the whole theme of this.
That is excellent. Well, anyway, I hope that people do take a close look at the art to try and find things like that. Anyone who does find Easter eggs in game, please do send them to me. We'll show them off on stream, and it will be quite. Hopefully, it'll be quite an experience. Thanks for running through all the Raptors with us. I genuinely can't wait to see how it goes, and I hope that there's more and more expansion with the Raptors game type over the course of the coming years, because there is something a lot of fun about trying to deal with an unstoppable horde.
Amen, man. Hey, I'm waiting for it too, and we're gonna make it happen.
Alrighty then. Flo, I think we got interrupted partway through chatting to you. Let me grab my notes back for a second. And I think we were going to ask you what your favorite, what are you most excited about upcoming in bar?
Well, we have several things that are upcoming. We have a lot of promise in like overhauling some models, but like the Armada faction will need some redesigning. All the other factions as well. So that's something to look forward to. And you have seen just the Raptors, what's happening there. So that's exciting. Exciting also is all the possibilities the new lobby could offer, and the new infrastructure combined with that.
I will
Like
be super excited
we
for the
aren't
new
ready.
lobby.
We aren't ready to go to Steam at all with our current infrastructure. It's just not capable. So we need the new lobby combined with that. So we're just writing out the stuff we have, and that's a common theme actually. Like we're writing out our current interface as well. The interface that I mostly made myself. I just improved what was already there and re-implemented stuff, and it's a bit low level interface. It's fast, it's efficient, it has not much fluff, and it does the job well. And there's a lot of possibilities and settings you can do, but there is also some work being done on redesigning the interface and using a more web-based framework for that. So that's also I'm looking forward to see work in that area. It's not work I'll probably do myself. That's other people that are jumping on board. And that's the thing I really like about Bar. That's people just jump in and do stuff. Maybe start small and then they get engaged a lot, and then the stuff just starts happening in a synergetic
Just like
way.
King of the Hill.
Yeah, exactly. I was also one of the first people, I think, admins or moderators that enlarged your possibility, your player limits.
Yeah, we very
Yes.
much appreciate that. You and Nightmare, just
have been
early days, about almost a year ago. Around, I reckon it was around Christmas last year. Maybe they started getting big. Yeah, really appreciate that you guys jump on here. I don't know what time it is for you when we do these. I know we're on the less popular side of the world, but we do appreciate that so much.
This has turned into something absolutely incredible from what was just a Discord conversation, and the fact that we get these larger lobbies and that we get to pit large teams against each other. I think I mentioned earlier in the night that one of our videos was just featured by Winter, or one of the games was just featured by Winter Gaming, which is absolutely insane. Seeing something we've created getting 20,000 views in the first 12 hours, and that's all because of the hard work of everyone developing it, and the massive appreciation we have for you for throwing increasing the size of lobbies and giving us a go. So we seriously appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm really glad to be a part of it. I'm almost weekly here as well, mostly just joining the spectacle from above and managing some inconsistencies.
You like to
with
watch
players.
chaos.
Yes. I love the simulation aspect of this game.
Oh man,
That's
I've
what
just
keeps me going and keeps me developing.
I've just done some overclocking of my CPU to try and get a little bit of simulation overhead, because I noticed that I was 100%ing one of my cores, and it's done absolute wonders. The extra 0.5 gigahertz is actually helping a lot.
Okay, wow. Yeah, it's just amazing that this thing that you started is still going on a year later. I wouldn't have thought.
Me neither, but every week
starting
60 to 70 plus people, absolutely incredible. So
Well, the enlargement of the lobby limits for player limits isn't just limited to your community. We first had also Brightworks, like that was blessed with some enlargements, and it's just it's possible for other communities as well. The only thing is that it needs to be a positive and well managed community, and it's just open to get your lobby or host blessed with some enlargements. So I'm really happy to see still going strong a year later, and that you have like Chronographer making the hype map levels, lava stuff going for this event. It's just amazing to see what comes out of it.
we would be totally lost without Chronographer. One of the crazy things is the rules have been basically the same the whole way through, but the lava forcing that 10-minute no rush eliminates like 99% of our problems. It's absolutely insane, and that also resulted in the actual the changes in the in-game menus that allow for the rising tide control. That was a change which I've seen in other lobbies that came about because of Chronographer's work. So that's I really like the community-driven aspect of Bar. When the community wants something, the development team is open to it, particularly if they're there to implement to create the implementation themselves.
Yeah, it's the question you asked before I was interrupted the interview. What's the most rewarding thing is like seeing how the community and other people pick up where I don't really have the time to do it. In the beginning, was one of the only devs out there, and then you have to wear all the hats, and you just can't do that properly. So, seeing how we tripled and quadrupled our developer amount is just amazing.
I think the story of Beyond All Reason is absolutely crazy, and since we've got this opportunity to have you and you've been with the team so far, one thing I was going to ask, what's one of the biggest direction changes that's happened over the course of the game? Not necessarily a complete redesign, but things where it's something that was a priority that then changed because of other things popping up. What have you experienced as being one of the biggest changes?
You ask these questions, and I'm just not seeing directly what the right answer should be, because there's a lot as well. I mean,
the nice thing
capabilities
is
of the server. We just we just used the tools and what stuff was in place already, and then people come along and say, oh, we really need this, but it is not possible with the current stuff. So they go off and just invent stuff, and you have to trust the process a little bit sometimes. Like the whole Legion development was like inventing a whole new faction was unheard of, but you have to stay open and positive, and let's see. That not say no to everything, not putting salt on the snails, we say in Holland there, every snail, putting salt on snails. Like you don't have to criticize every little thing, you just see what happens and what comes out of it, and if it needs some direction there.
We have our own little story very similar to that in Beyond All Reason. Hot Stepper, Tank Tom and I were ludicrously worried about how it would go because of the amount of reclaim and the amount of metal on the map, and we delayed it for a very, very long time, but Twig was steadfast in his belief that it would work out, and it was not a one-sided crushing. It was a very long and decently even game, and I reckon it could have gone either way, and if a couple more matches happen, it could have. So I think you've definitely got the right idea with having that mentality from the get-go, and it's something that we could definitely learn from. So for those Twig, for those
Did
everyone
you just
listening.
admit that you were wrong about something live on stream?
No, I'm not admitting I'm wrong. I'm admitting you were right. And there's a big difference between those two. But it's a start. Well, I guess I'm gonna open the floor both to chat and to everyone who's in the Discord with a few more general questions. And while we do those, I'm just gonna see if I can sneak the images that we had that were provided to us by
Chris.
Yeah. Oh no, not those
Chris.
ones. The next
What's
lot of
from Zeph?
images. Yeah. So I'm just gonna pop
We've got
those
Zeph
ones.
here now, actually.
Oh, is he? Okay. I'm
Yeah.
covering my screens with all sorts of things to make everything work today. So we're in a bit of a interesting
live.
shuffle
Short
at the
answer.
moment for me. Let's see if I can grab this one back. In that case, Zeph, you're here.
Hello.
Hey, Zeph. So, Zeph's been a long-time graphic designer before Bar, then turned 3D artist and a Legion specialist. I hear you've been serving as project manager for the Bar art and design department, and you're working in guiding the team. You organize the Legion unit development and help shape everything from the unit models and the light. Were you part of the lighting change? Because that lighting change was awesome.
I wasn't part of that specific lighting change, but I am working with the lights for all the Legion stuff with Tharsis, our 3D lead, as well. So
Nice.
The Legion units were completely looked over, so that's
And then also working on the logos and graphics. So you're a big part of why Bar looks as incredible as it does right now as we zoom into a whole bunch of the Titans and the nukes going off all at once. So you've overseen Legion faction from concept to final. What has been your proudest achievement on there? And don't just say like getting them into the game. You have to actually give us something.
So for me, I particularly joined at a very crucial time, you could say, for Legion. At the time when I joined, Legion was already a faction that was in development for quite a bit. Obviously, it started out as sort of like scavengers, extra units that got consolidated into their own faction and then worked on through that. I joined at a critical time when the new look for Legion that wasn't just Cortex but weird was being sort of organized. It was just a matter of jumping in and getting just models done. Literally just that. There was just a lot of legwork that was needed to take the new textures that were being developed and then applying them in a sensible way to what Legion should maybe look like. Definitely I wasn't the only one at the time. There were other people, such as Protar and Tharsis, who were also actively making things and sort of trying to steer the general direction, see and explore different shapes and design philosophies, and it's been absolutely fantastic, seeing it from getting to that point to where we are today. It's kind of wild when I think about it that I have access, and really anyone else does, if they really wanted to go back and look at Bar and play it as if it came out like 2, 3, 4 years ago. We have that sort of history in the GitHub repo, and sometimes I look back at like where Legion was when I first joined, or at least even found the project, and it was like 6 units, if that, and they're all Cortex kit-bashed models, to having like full rosters and bot and vehicle and whatnot. And the fact that it's not just me, that it's a team effort, multiple different people pitching in, working together is very awesome to see, and I really cannot be more proud of the team.
It sounds like you've got the positive leader side of things down very well, and I for one am very, very happy with a lot of the Legion units. I am a big fan of Cortex and Armada competitively, but as far as the look goes, Legion does something particularly particularly good for me. I've got a couple of images that I've been cycling through up on the screen, but I'm going to skip ahead to the one that has the Sol Invictus in it because I want to ask a lot about the Sol Invictus. What was the where did the concept of the Sol Invictus come from? What was the driving force behind it? The people that worked on it. Was this one something where it had a very strong initial concept or lots of concepts? This was the final decision. Run me through the Sol Invictus.
So, just to give a bit of a background on the Sol Invictus, this is essentially the primary reason I even wanted to sort of contribute to the modeling side. The very first thing that I ever wanted to make for Bar was an ultra level, T3, heat ray mech sort of thing. And of course, this was at a time when I didn't even pick up Blender. I never picked up any sort of 3D modeling tool in my life before Bar. And I realized that, this is completely out of my scope. So I would have to, slowly build up my skills, work through the rest of the faction, because, it's such a huge undertaking, and it was quite difficult even when I got to it at the time, a year and a half later. Yeah, it was basically the entire reason I even got in, because the initial vision was this thing, the Sol, and everything else was just leading up to it. And the creation of the Sol Invictus was very much a sort of, I had a very specific idea in mind, which was dual heat ray arms. That's pretty much like the main crux of the entire unit. Now, that's not how it turned out in practice, due to some internal testing and design elements that that was discussed over later. But initially, the idea was dual heat ray arms, and I am a person who is not exactly the best at you could say drawing mechs specifically, but drawing in general. I'm great at graphics design, I'm great at modeling, but drawing is something that I'm rather weak on. So I actually specifically asked Protar to call in a favor and ask him, here's what the idea I have, here's what the visual direction I want to go with, by giving him a bunch of different references. And Protar just went completely off the rails, making this absolutely amazing concept art. And I'm gonna see if I can share that specific concept art with you, so you can show everybody else as well. But that was sort of the driving force behind how it looks from a visual standpoint rather than just mechanical. And of course, there was some extra done later in testing with the lead balance dev, who's Zekris. We found that just having heat rays probably wasn't a very it wasn't very interesting to look at during actual fights, and it sort of it provided more issues with sort of balancing, in the sense that it was kind of unclear how much damage was being done if it was just two yellow beams beaming down at you. But of course, through multiple different iterations, we managed to land on this dual riot cannon on the arms and dual heat rays on the shoulder setup, and all four weapons do fire and target independently, which was a very difficult problem that took us many iterations, a lot of time, maybe 3-4 weeks worth of just continuously going back and forth over the code, seeing what works, what doesn't, to make it work properly. So Troy, I'm gonna send over the concept art over to Twig.
While you're sending that one, I've drawn my interpretation of that concept art, which might it's just that second image. So that's my interpretation with the double lasers.
If you asked me at the time when I asked Protar to make it to draw it, this was, if I did it instead, that's what the concept art would look like. So, you and I were not so different.
Yes, I do my best, and that is in fact my best.
So I've sent the concept art over to Twig, if he wants to throw it up there as well.
He's got it now. I've thrown it up on mine.
Let's grab that. Here we go. Oh my god, that's awesome. So let's full screen that. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. This is the concept art that was being talked about. I'm sorry about my incredibly janky setup, but this is I've never had to pull images into a stream live, so
So yeah, that was, absolutely incredible to see. So just have sort of like a seed of an idea executed so amazingly by Protar. And I wonder if Protar has some insight into how he approached this design and what sort of drove into well the thought process behind on how to make it. Oh, Protar also posted early concept arts too. So.
Yeah, so seeing this and my talks today, it seems like everything is again revolving around legs and feet, but yeah, I was probably mainly
is.
going for what Zephyr wished for there. We had some talks about like where to draw inspiration from, but yeah, the most challenging part I would say was like integrating these shoulder-mounted cannons, and as always with the game, to make sure even in the concepting phase, something Chris with attempting to do the Raptors is aware as well, is to have in mind like mechanical function of it, like how can it rotate, the firing arcs basically, so things like that, that these guns have to be able to stick out and such. So yeah, basically the process was like listening into what Zephyr was envisioning there and trying to make sense of it while keeping it close and true to what Legion is supposed to be, and then going nuts because that should be a badass top tier unit, and I enjoyed every bit of it, every iterative step of it. So yeah, that was probably it, and the feet thing.
I mean, look, you've gone with the I guess I wouldn't the tri-jointed legs with the reverse hinging in the concept, and I absolutely everything that worked together to become the Soul Invictus. It is something that looks to me as iconic as something like as a Titan from 40k. Like it feels like a unit that is meant to exist, and that's from someone that enjoys practical things. That's a very, very high compliment from me.
Thanks very much. But that whole idea, I want to be absolutely clear about the mechanical function of the leg. That was something like Zephyr came up with, so I was just trying to visualize his idea on that side. But I'm glad it's making sense for you and you like it.
Well, as much as I would love to keep talking about the Soul Invictus all night, I won't subject everybody to that. And while we've got the lobby going on, I'll jump back over to the PowerPoint. I'll zoom this back down so that it's appropriately sized. Okay, something's broken. Oh dear. Okay. Yes. Okay, I can zoom this one back down to the correct size. Sorry about the extreme jankiness. If for those of you who weren't here at the beginning of the stream, my computer decided that nothing was going to work today. So we're really running on fumes. I've got the different labs up on the stream at the moment, and the vehicles are everything about Legion is so incredibly unique. A lot of the units feel similar roles to other other equivalents in the factions. Did the art come first, or did the unit or did the roles, or did you have to make art to fill the roles?
So it was a sort of a mixed approach there. At the time when the design was being consolidated, there were already some existing units that were prototyped out using kit-bashed models. A few fair examples include the Barrage, which is the napalm vehicle, the Alaris, which at the time I think was called Hades. It's the little scout vehicle, the Blitz slash Incisor equivalent. There were some bots as well, such as the Karkinos, and the Goblin, and et cetera, et cetera. There were a few spattering of units all across the field that existed already in some form, but just needed a proper model. And there were also 80% of units did not have a model at all. So it was sort of, we took what was already there and adjusted and sort of reworked it from a visual standpoint. And then it sort of evolved into, well, we're going in this direction. We could probably go all in on this sort of organic, layer, sort of armor plating over squishy internal sort of look, and that's what we did. Now, of course, today as it stands, there's obviously a lot more of a very specific look we want to go for them, which is a curvy, organic, almost bulbous aesthetic to them, which will retroactively apply to even stuff that exists today to make them look a little bit more in line with the general visual direction we want for Legion. But yeah, it's really been a very fluid process. It has there's no chicken and the egg here. They both coexist at the same time for us. At least that's the way it's been for most of Legion's development.
And it sounds like that's worked out quite well for the development. So I guess, do you have any stories where things haven't quite aligned? So the Sol Invictus is a great example of something in your head coming to paper, coming to the game in a very I wouldn't say, it wouldn't necessarily be straightforward, but the desire, the concept, it was all very, it all focused linearly. Did you ever have any units where the concept of the unit and the designs you came up with just never meshed? Any sort of pain points like that across the development?
Gosh, maybe it's my PTSD preventing me from remembering those properly. But I definitely remember that there were certain units that whose concepts that just were not meshing out correctly. I think one of the most prominent examples is the dual weapon tank that we had in Legion. Initially, when it was sort of as a kit bashed model, it had I think I did give you the image for that. Maybe it's just not in these slideshows. But generally, what I had was a plasma cannon and a two heat rays on the front, sort of like chassis, and it was a very strange unit. And I tried really hard to sort of incorporate both the weapons and the design together into like the Legion look, and it was and also balance it out to make it not kind of meh. It was just a very meh feeling unit from both a design and balance perspective, and that was really tough because then the question became, where do we go from here then? Clearly this unit is just not working out. How do we approach this? And it has a good ending to it, which is that after a lot of discussion with Zekris, we essentially decided to split the unit. So we now have this the Gladiator, which is the burst fire skirmisher tank in T2, and the Prometheus, which is the heavy heat ray tank. And those had their own issues, particularly the Gladiator. It took a lot of fine-tuning to get that quite right, because initially it was very sort of underwhelming as well. It suffered from some of the same issues, but I would say that overall, though, although it was tough to sort of axe that unit, we had the opportunity to make something new in place of it. So it all ended out well.
And at the end of the day, if it ends out well, that's kind of all you can ask for, especially when you're developing the game as part of I guess a volunteer team. Things like that coming together. I think that there's a lot of passion that goes into Bar. It has to if it gets built and run by the community, and so problems like that. My actual expectation for that was to have a story. Not exactly this, but similar enough where it didn't turn into the biggest problem. It turned into a unique solution, like splitting it out into 2 units, both which I actually quite like. So then, I guess I would ask you what your favorite unit is, but I have a feeling that it's the Soul Invictus. But if we rule that one out, what is your favorite unit that you've worked on?
The favorite unit that I've worked on that I think was both great to just sort of naturally let the design flow from just a creative standpoint and also for the balancing was probably the Olympus, which is the LRPC for Legion. That thing was awesome to work on. Sometimes I have issues when it comes to creating large turrets, such that they can sort of rotate and fire and aim in a way that doesn't clip into itself. There's a certain art to it, and even I myself haven't fully mastered it. But that thing was just like whatever, I had a sort of idea and vision for it, and it just all worked out. There was no, nasty surprises in the way. When the turret turned, it turned perfectly. It wouldn't clip into each other, and the actual animation process was probably the one that at that time took me the longest to get right because, there was a lot of weird ways you can animate stuff in bar, and you have to understand when and where commands within the animation script are given to units and where you can sort of, insert some fancy stuff into it. So the opening animation that the Olympus has was like a aha moment for me. I was like, wow, I can actually do that. That's amazing. At the time of creation, when you first set it up, as well as the actual rotating barrel every time it fires, and everything else after that. It was a really great learning process. It was a really great creative process. The animation model turned out great. I'm really proud of that. And I feel like even in game, it's not a unit that felt like it was either horribly weak or much too strong. It felt just right, even from the beginning. And of course, it had some tweaks along the way. But overall, I think that was the smoothest process I ever had for a unit's creation, from creative to implementation.
Very nice. And I'm going to ask a question that I've asked a few times tonight. Have you managed to sneak any Easter eggs into the game? A signature, anything along those lines in the Legion units?
I have before, and it's not really an Easter egg anymore because we started incorporating it into other stuff. But the Soul Invictus was initially the very first unit in the entire game that actually had the faction's logo imprinted onto the model somewhere there. For the Soul, it was on the back. It's not on the back anymore. I don't know where I put it now, to be honest. I don't remember. And it's there with a few other Legion units, but that was actually an idea I had initially when I first found the project. I actually made a suggestion post. You can probably still find it, where I asked, hey, can we like incorporate some of these faction logos onto the designs at some point? Because that was one of my favorite parts about some of the designs in the original Total Annihilation, which is that ARM and Core had they represented their faction with their emblems proudly, and I sort of wanted to do that for Legion as well. But of course, the first unit that got it was the Soul, and other units have got it since then too. Some other few units for Legion has the little Legion logo, sort of emblazoned or attached onto the chassis. So, but I'm not going to say which ones. I'll let the players and audience figure that one out over time.
Very nice, very nice. And I guess this one's a little off script, but in the game we have the epic Aphis and the epic converter. Any chance we might see an epic Soul Invictus?
Epic Soul Invictus. Oh gosh. I mean, I I don't know how you can make something even bigger than that or more epic than that. But I mean, I'm sure at some point, if I decide to, go into a fugue state and decide, yeah, you know what, I think it needs more heat rays and more riot cans. I think that might be better for it. Yeah, then that might spawn into an epic Soul Invictus. Although, with the recent remodel I had a couple of few weeks ago, there is a scavengers only version of the Soul Invictus, which is the archaic Soul Invictus, which I don't know if
I have
folks here have seen it.
I have not
So-
seen the Archaic Soul Invictus. I have seen the one with the 4 heat rays, but I have
That
not
is
seen
the
the
Archaic Soul
Archaic
Invictus.
one. Oh,
That is the Archaic.
that is the Archaic one? Okay.
Yes, yes. That was sort of like, that is sort of like the culmination of the original idea for the soul, which is that, more heat rays equals better. We just kind of ran. I just kind of ran with that one. I was like, well, if I'm going to reuse the old design, I might as well just flesh it out to what I originally envisioned, because balance be damned. At that point, it's just a scab unit, right?
I mean, look, to be honest, the balance of the scav unit is, can this be used with the AI to kill the players? And if the answer is yes, then it's a good scav unit.
Exactly. That was exactly the line of thought that I had. I was like, well, more heat rays equals more dead players. Might as well go for it.
Alrighty then. Going to be jumping down. Looks like we're being joined by Seth, lead surveyor. There we go. There's my section on Seth. So, Seth, as a community outreach team leader and self-proclaimed gadgeteer and widgeteer, Seth has brought a bridge between the dev team and the community, gathering feedback, shaping discussions, and helping turn wild ideas into playable realities from evolving command. Oh wow, okay? Sorry, I did read this before, but because I'm jumping up and down through my document, I've been wanting to ask about some of this stuff because evolving commanders, scavenger bosses, and territorial domination, zombie mode. You're one of the people that is incredibly relevant to King of the Hill, because you're the guy who's involved in a lot of the community fun and shenanigans.
Please send help. I can't stop.
No, don't stop. Do more. So I do have a first question I'm supposed to ask, but the reality of the question that I'm gonna ask is, King of the Hill, what do you think? Do you like it?
It's big.
Yes.
I like it.
Excellent.
I wouldn't last 5 minutes in it, but I like it, and I'm happy to do my part to make it a little bit better every other month. Good times, good times. Has it tried territorial domination yet?
We have turned it on once, but because of the way that it runs, with the peasants having a huge amount of land and the kings having a relatively small amount, it gave the peasants a very simple win condition, and the kings a very difficult one. So we didn't use it beyond
that makes sense.
But if we could tweak it so that the percentages were slightly different, so let's say that the kings only had the peasants only started ticking down further in compared to the kings, that definitely would make quite a difference and make it quite usable, because it would close. In particular, Hot Stepper we tried last week, and that turned into an hour-long T3 slugfest. That map would do wonders as with those controls on, if we could determine the percentages.
Sure, I think I could sneak that in. The next version of territorial domination I got sidetracked from for the development of Quick Start, which I thought was going to be a super important element in the overall domination experience. So the next version of territorial domination is going to shift over towards like a points-based arrangement. So you're going to accumulate points over time, and then there will come a point where you get too low proportionally to whoever's in the lead, and you're knocked out. Or alternatively, the match comes to an end, the time is out, and whoever is on top reigns supreme. It's going to work better, and I mapped it out. It turns out, all right, get this. 1, you ready for this? 1 plus 2 equals 3. Therefore, if you get 1 point per territory in round 1 and 2 points per territory in round 2, you can always mathematically make a comeback in round 3. Very interesting.
I love that. I was a big player of COD Domination back in the day, and any sort of game type which involves accruing points just tickles something in my brain. And the idea of having a catch-up mechanic is fantastic, because it means players will knock other players mostly down, but they'll then be ignored for new territory, and that player can come back in the last round if they're ignored too long.
Yes, sir.
So that sounds absolutely phenomenal. So there's a bit of a sneak peek about what's coming next in Territories.
And when? Probably at least at the most 2 months from now, but possibly next month at my current work rate.
So you've had a lot of extra time to work on Bar recently?
No.
No? You do what you can with what you've got. So where do your ideas actually come from? So Evo, so like when we made King of the Hill, we just thought of a game mode we liked, but Evo Comms is not something that comes out of nowhere. How did you come to your ideas?
Man, I was going to quote Bane from, but I can't make it work. Anyway, so I actually inherited Evolving Commanders from what was originally Unbalanced Commanders, which was removed from the game as a buggy and unmaintainable mess that had tons of time and effort dumped into it trying to make it work. It didn't work with Barbarian AI, which is the most common arrangement that people like to use it with, right? Because of the way it treated build tiles and stuff, and there was just all kinds of bugs related to how it worked. It would, from a technical standpoint, you had a bunch. You had each commander with a whole bunch of weapons that were all disabled and enabled one at a time, and build options that were blocked, except for when it was time for them to have access to it, and then it would add the build tiles. It was just a spaghettification nightmare. And it was removed from the game, and there was nobody that wanted to step up to make it. And so there was me, the guy that really liked hanging out in suggestions, saw that thread, and I thought, well, I could try. Legion had a evolving commander at the time, and it provided sort of like the framework that, the skeleton, if you will, that I could build upon. And about 4 or 5 months of banging my head against the wall, I had something that didn't play very well, but worked, and was mostly bug-free.
Mostly?
Mostly.
So
I am many things, but a balancer I am not.
So was the way that sounded, is this one of your earlier attempts at coding, or are you coming from a background of coding?
First. The absolute first. I knew nothing about any kind of coding until I started working on that.
So, for those of you listening, there's been multiple stories of people who have joined the Bar development team with very little to no experience coming in. If you want to contribute, the team is incredibly open to that, and it's just such an amazing thing that you can develop the skills to build something like Evo Comms, which have made Raptors just an absolute amazing experience, as well as a lot of other, as well as just in their own right being a great fun tool. From just deciding, being in suggestions that's the thing that you're going to do. So that's phenomenal. That's absolutely phenomenal.
There's some interesting design choices that went into evolving commanders. I don't know which arrangement you used. In times past, there used to only be timed evolution, but that created a little problem, which is that oftentimes people would complain, hey, these evolving commanders, they're too powerful for whatever is happening in the game, and they just steal the show, and it basically becomes a MOBA. That's no good. Some people like that, but that's beside the point. So, one of the design problems I had to fix was to make it so that they kept pace with, but never exceeded the state of the game, and that's where you get dynamic evolution from.
Okay, because yeah, I've noticed from doing Raptors, I usually use I usually let them scale up based on actions that might be the dynamic side, but because I throw my comm at the center of the map very early on, I either die or become high level very quickly. How did you manage how did you manage setting them to evolve dynamically? What are the contributing factors in the game that change how they evolve?
Black magic.
Black magic?
But more specific black magic is that all units have a power value, which is derivative of their energy and metal cost. I just keep track of how much of that stuff is out there for all the teams, and then I compare stuff, and then I have a threshold at which it triggers an evolution event.
That is both awesome, and it also makes me think that there is almost certainly a way to code a widget that would tell you the game based on the game state when it's time to go T2 and T3 and whatnot.
Probably.
That would be awesome. Sorry, that's slightly off topic, but that's where my mind went.
That's how it happens, man. You're like, why don't I do this? And then pretty soon you find yourself in front of an IDE Visual Studio for like 2 weeks, maybe a month. That's how it is.
So, I guess going from there, I'm seeing that zombie mode maybe coming up, or maybe becoming a new thing. I haven't actually heard anything about it up till this point. Is that because it's not released, or because I'm completely out of touch with the with zombie mode?
Oh, it was hidden. It was concealed and revealed today. Just this morning, actually. Well, for me, just this morning.
That makes total sense why I was out of the loop, because I've been working on trying to put this event together today. So, what can you tell us about zombie mode? Give us the rundown, but then afterwards, I want to know how you where you got the idea for it from.
All right, so if zombie mode is enabled and something dies, it doesn't want to stay dead. A certain amount of time passes, and it depends on how big and expensive the unit is, because let's say that you had a T2 thing that was sitting on the ground dead, and it's currently like 2 minutes into the game. You don't want that popping up right away, right? Same thing if later on, more importantly, a Juggernaut dies and it's currently the T2 phase, and it pops right back up. That's going to be a very bad time. So the pop-up times are adjustable according to how far into the game we are and how expensive the unit is. But they will pop up, and before they do, you get about 15 seconds of fireworks, of special effects, purple stuff, telling you, hey, dude, you better do something about that. And the things you can do is reclaim it or resurrect it. And if you touch it even a little bit with that stuff, it resets the timer, buys you time. And upon the 15's final warning seconds elapsing, it comes back up and starts trying to kick everyone's buns.
That's awesome. Would degunning the corpse work?
Yeah, that would totally work. No corpse, no problems.
So there's your panic button, but then you also have all the reasonable solutions. I'm sorry, I'm hearing this, and all I'm thinking is, my God, I want to play this as King of the Hill. I want to do a King of the Hill match like this. And I'm guessing the timing is no coincidence with around the Halloween event.
Yes, I've been asking PTAC. I asked him, hey, I got this thing. It's been sitting since March. Should I do it? Should we do it for Halloween? What do you think? And him being incredibly busy, he didn't quite get back to me until like 2 weeks from release day. And he's like, yeah, sure, why not? And why not do the more complicated version where we have console commands too, so we can troll people with it? And I thought, bet. And so that was a really long week, but we made it.
So you're telling me that, let's just say we were halfway through a Kings game that was going badly for one team, you could just turn it on partway through, and everything they left on half the map that's been destroyed would come back to get them?
Yeah, but only if a certain mod option is enabled, and you can't guess what that is.
I probably
It's a
can't.
very secretive name.
Is it enable zombie mode?
No, that one will just make normal zombies happen. There's another one, but I won't tell you what it is.
Fair enough. I'll have to coax it out of Nightmare.
But I'll have you know.
Awesome.
Let me look at the settings here. I want to see.
Do you mind just
have to interject,
sharing your
like,
screen while you look at those settings? I'm not.
Let's
gonna
just say that Flora's finger is on the detonation.
Last game, actually, Nightmare enabled zombies, so that's what happened last game.
That's what that was.
That's awesome.
that
I didn't see any zombies resurrecting. So here's the thing: if you have super secret, not going to tell you what it's named, mod option enabled at the same time as zombies, it overrides the behavior and makes it not happen until told so.
Oh man,
So that's why no zombies.
I'm gonna make it my life mission to get the full mod powers instead of the partial mod powers, so that I can start enabling that in King's games. That is gonna be my mission in life, I reckon. So, we've talked about projects that you have worked on and that are in implementation. What have you got in that brain of yours? What do you want to see in the game? What are you working on? Or, provided you can talk about any of it or want to talk about any of it.
I'm an open book. The project I was working on yesterday and the day before was a potential fix to co-op. So at this point, co-op is a problem, has become a meme, and there's a lot of ideas out there, but they have a whole bunch of pros and cons to them. The one I thought would be least obtrusive is to introduce some kind of tech progression to the game, such that you can't build T2 until you reach T2. And how do you get to T2? By accumulating research points. How do you get research points? By having factories, and they generate the research points. It's just an experiment, just a test. No need to panic yet.
Look, if
But,
you want to get us to test any of those, I am on board to test just about anything, particularly if it has a PvE element.
We do host a Wacky Wednesday every week, and we are happy to test anything and have it go wrong, because that's what we're about on the Wednesdays.
So, you should test Quick Start. I've been waiting for somebody to break it. Yeah. Have you heard about that one?
Break Quick Start. So give everyone a rundown of Quick Start for everyone listening.
All right. What started as a very simple idea of just boosting the commander's build power for the first couple seconds of the game, so you could build your initial base really quickly, right? You could skip ahead to roughly the 1.5 minute mark. Yeah. That was too simple. Then it became drones that were going to go out and blow up and build stuff instantly for you, so that you get a little bit of a, you get like an area that you can build within. That way you're not stuck just plopping stuff down immediately around your commander.
Mm-hmm.
Both of these ideas were presented to game design team. They say, do this more complicated thing. And I said, So the way it works now is in the pregame, you have a little range around your commander. You can place buildings, and if the buildings have a little purple square around them, not green, then they will be instantly built for you when the game starts. You get a certain budget, you can see it at the top, and once the budget's all expended, you can start the game. And all that stuff spawns in.
We are 100% doing this on Wednesday. We are 100% doing this on Wednesday.
Please
and we're
do.
also going to try and do it on a King's game as well, and we'll shorten the timer.
The important thing there is try to spread out, because your bases can commingle and get real cozy.
Oh man, this is going to be absolutely excellent. So, for those of you out there that want to try it, how can you try it in-game at the moment?
Look in the Extras tab. There is something suspiciously nested right next to the build base, or the base turret mod option, and the drones mod option, called Quick Start. Click on that and click a set of words that you think makes sense for you.
I do believe that this is the Quick Start option that is being talked about right there. So, advanced options, extras, scroll down, Quick Start. I will be giving that a go. Absolutely. So we started talking about what's coming up in the pipeline. What is the after you're working on Quick Start at the moment, but what is the plan for after Quick Start?
Back to territorial domination. It was like 95% completed, the next version, before I got sidetracked for like a month.
And that's,
but long term, my long-term goals is I want to advocate for a narrow selection of high-quality and non-overlapping game modes. I don't really care what the game modes are necessarily, just that they're high-quality and that they don't steal from each other's communities, if that makes sense.
Yep.
With the core objective being, I personally believe that bar would be very healthy, healthier than it is today if it had a rotation of game modes to cycle through. So if you get bored of one, then play this other one. And if you get bored of that, you play this other one. By the time you get done being exhausted playing that last one, maybe you go back to the first one.
Did you by chance?
But it's not approved yet. I'll be seeking it in the future.
So, did you by chance grow up in playing Halo 3?
No, actually, I was a Battlefield kiddie.
Ah, okay, because I have very fond memories of constant rotation of community events between Griffball and Zombies and co-op modes like SWAT, all that sort of thing. And what you're talking about, I think, is something which has just been lost to a lot of gaming recently, and it's that idea of pulling the community into different game modes by having them available on a rotation. It means that people that would otherwise just be really comfortable playing just the one game mode might dip their toe in and find more things they like, and you end up with dedicated people that will set up their own lobbies for the matches that they like, but community run ones just rotate, so they're always so different ones are available at different times. I love the idea of having something like that in game where everyone can find the little niche that they enjoy. And kind of like what we've done with King of the Hill, Sunday nights, same time every week. We host these, and it seems like we get a lot of recurring players. We also get new players each week, and it's just been a fantastic thing to build up.
DamGam advocates for that exact same thing, and I agree with him. It would be great to have a rotation on top of the bread and butter stuff that, is always available. And the rotation would be great for exhibiting experimental or silly things that would have little staying power. That way everybody can have a little bit of fun.
So, because you've been so new to the programming side of things, starting out with your work on Bar, what has been your absolute hardest, not necessarily your hardest obstacle, but the thing where you look back on it now and you're just sort of like, how did I not get this from the start?
I don't see it that way.
Yeah, fair enough.
What I see is that the hugest leaps in progress are happening when you don't realize they are happening. Banging your head against the wall, making zero progress, is you eliminating options that don't go anywhere. And at some point, you'll pull on a thread that does go somewhere, and now you can branch off into another path, another thing that allows you to accumulate more knowledge. Knowledge builds upon itself. And if you keep on growing and keep on expanding and be patient in the beginning when you suck, then there's no ceiling. You just keep learning. And that's how I am doing what I'm doing now. That, and also because I wander around the Discord asking stupid questions shamelessly until somebody knows the answer.
So I guess you're taking the community nature of Bar to a whole nother level and crowdsourcing your problem solving. I like.
Yes,
it.
It's amazing. If you say stupid stuff around suggestions, there is no shortage of people that'll tell you the correct answer. It's great.
One of my
I barely have to think.
One of my all-time favorite memes is the person that posts something wrong on Reddit in order to get people corrected. Because if you just ask for help, people don't necessarily help. But then if you state something and it's wrong, you're more likely to get a response. That I always enjoyed that meme, but this is the healthy version of that.
100%.
So, what is something that's made it to game that you've worked on that turned out to be that turned out to have a massive bug or a very funny unintended side effect?
Oh, there's it didn't end up being famous, but it's one that haunts me to this day. So a long time ago, my second project I worked on was to rework Impulse so that you wouldn't be able to launch units into space anymore. And I know that sounds like a bummer, But what that actually
Is
allows
a bummer.
is for the Banisher to have impulse, because otherwise, if it wasn't capped, then even a small amount, appropriate amount of impulse, enough to, say, knock around a tiger a little bit, would shoot a pawn off into space. And that's no good. So, anyways, capped that, but I neglected to think about the aircraft. One of the deceleration mechanics, which is a hacky workaround to some engine nonsense I was encountering, I forgot to exclude aircraft. So there was this funny bug, and it's in some kind of Brightworks clip somewhere. There was some bombers on the run, and then they got hit with some AA, and there was enough impulse to where it triggered the slowdown mechanism to cap impulse. And so they get slower and slower and slower. The world's slowest, arduous bombing run. It worked. They got the target, but dear God, they must have been going, "What the?"
That's
And it was
amazing.
caught on stream, immortalized forever. My incompetence.
That's absolutely amazing. I particularly enjoy that because it didn't have any. It didn't crash the game. It didn't do anything wrong. It was just a moment in time, a patch, where aircraft didn't need aerodynamics to fly. They just needed to have impulse slow them down. So
Gotta say,
building
Seth,
on. Oh, sorry.
Give
What
me
was
just
that?
a moment. I have a bone to pick with Seth. Seth, you took away my dream of air juggling Rocketeers or riot cannon turrets. Why would you do that to me?
Well, as we heard earlier in the night, the GitHub repository does have a lot of the old builds of the game. So if you wanted to go back in time and enjoy that, it's still very possible.
I'm sorry, it had to be done.
I know. It's all in the teamwork, right?
So
It's actually deep-seated hatred.
does that mean that let's just say someone wanted to in the future, those changes could allow for some crazy impulse shenanigans for a custom game type?
It's hard-coded, but
Okay.
I imagine if somebody somehow convinced the powers that be to allow that to be overridden, then yeah, it's totally possible.
So for those,
I remember, oh yeah, there was this mod that just gave everything crazy impulse, and I remember that somebody made a game mode out of it. Basically, it was try to knock your enemy's units out of the map. Of course, there was no fall damage, and there was also no drowning damage either. So what that actually meant is them getting stuck outside of the map. But still, it was cool.
I'm imagining some sort of air soccer in my head, but that sounds like a very good time. But the takeaway I wanted to sort of push out of that from the community is that if you do have some ideas for something like that, if something doesn't seem possible in the game or has been as you say hard coded into the game, it doesn't mean that it's not worth chatting to the guys that know about it, because a lot of people that are working on the game have built up from little to no knowledge, which means that if you have the right idea and it's something which would add to bar, it's worth reaching out and being part of the and building the community, not just being part of it. So for anyone that was a little bit on the fence about asking, I would definitely say put yourself forward and give it a go.
Sure, you can always reach out to me, Seth D Gamer, lead surveyor guy. I basically live on Discord. Ping me if you get stuck on something. I'll point you in the right direction. We're all in this together.
All right, and then last question for you tonight, at least from me, unless anyone else wants to bring any forward. Have you had any ideas where either the community or other people in the game have just said that's taking it one step too far, or something along those lines?
Roughly half.
Do you have any particularly good ridiculous examples that you would love to put forward to the community so they can pressure the rest of the team to try to get it implemented, to try and give you the freedom to do it? Oh, sorry, I'm just getting 1,000 messages from the rest of the dev teams telling me not to ask that question. Go for it. I'm joking. I am joking, by the way. I'm not actually getting those messages.
I don't have any. Yeah, no, I kind of. So here's the thing. Remember that thing I told you about saying an idea on Discord and then everybody dunking on it? Yeah. So I do that basically every time. So all of the ideas, my hopes and dreams, they're all crushed and dead and buried. They're gone, man. They're gone. And the rest of them, I've been
zombie mode.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Nobody. We didn't circle back around to that. Where did I get the idea for zombie mode? Shamelessly stole it from 0K. As Sprung famously says, steal from 0K, and I did. But it turns out that the code there is not fully compatible with bar, so I ended up having to rewrite it 3 times. But the core essence of it, the idea, came from them. So thank you to those who put that together over there. Great idea.
Very nice.
Just as a supporting information, Sprung is one of our supporting developers, who's actually a main developer for 0K. So he's coming in here and asking us to steal from their game.
Yeah, it's back and forth. That's the joy of the GPL license, I think. As long as it's free, it's shareable.
It's good to go.
Between.
No, very good. And look, I am a gamer at heart. Anything that makes games better, regardless of whether it's new ideas, adaptations of other ones, or direct copies into games that you otherwise wouldn't have known about, I'm all for it, because I think that what's being built here is just a massive example of what can be done when a community comes together. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's everyone covered. I haven't missed anyone, have I?
Not that we're on the list. If anyone want to jump in, questions from the Discord. We did have one saying someone was a CS student. How do they sign up for helping out? If anyone has that answer. I believe there's a channel in the Discord.
Yes, if you are someone who wants to contribute to bar, I would personally recommend coming into the Discord and picking up the development tag or role. It's open to anyone can pick it up, and that gives you access to all the public development channels. And at the bottom, at the top of the list actually, there's a place called volunteer submissions. And in volunteer submissions, you can post under looking for volunteers. So it's a looking for volunteers, and then volunteer submissions. You can post what you have experience with, what you want to work on, and what kind of projects within bar sort of call to you. And at least from the art side, if it's anything art related, I'll pick you up. We'll have a discussion and see where get you connected with our team leads and get you placed where you need to be. And that is the same for the other team leads, even from the technical side. So yeah, feel free to pitch in your submissions, and we'll talk.
Another path is to find something in the game that you think kind of sucks and go, I want to make that better, and then try to figure out how to make that happen. That's the thread to pull on to get you into some sticky development situations, and that's the path I took.
I'm
yes,
glad
you can
did.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, following Steph's footsteps, you could definitely just, open up the GitHub repo, look at the existing issues, see, good first issues or with issues with the tag, good first issue, and just start chipping away at it. You're not gonna get, it's better that you do that. We'd rather you jump right in and make whatever fixes you think is necessary, and of course, we'll guide you every step of the way to ensure that whatever. Code or fix you have in mind it has meets minimum quality standards if it doesn't already. So yeah, don't be discouraged not to do that. Absolutely do that.
So question,
we have a tiny little YouTube guide that's pinned in dev main that'll tell you how to at least make a dev copy of the game that you can start messing around with.
Ooh, I might have a look at that. I have absolutely no skill in this sort of thing, but that does sound fun to me. We do have a question from Better Strategy. and this one's open to anyone that's in here with us. Thoughts on communist eco? I know that I'm a big fan of it because of what it lets us do in King of the Hill, but definitely heard some concerns around it in the multiplayer game. Just wondering if you guys have any up to date thoughts on that.
I suppose the first thing to say is that it's a it's a complex problem to solve, and of course there are multiple different viable solutions that are coming in from all different sides, and it's something that we do want to address. It is something that we are working on internally and externally, and although I don't have anything specific that I can really immediately say that yes, this is the path we are specifically going for to fix it, because I'm not part of the game design team, I'm not part of the balance team. I can safely say that we are actively working on trying to mitigate that issue and kind of allow players to act a little bit more independently, and still be successful within matches. There are multiple different avenues, and I believe Seth already mentioned earlier today about the co-op mode, and how he was trying to sort of take it a new approach that wasn't done before with the sort of tech points that you get from factories and whatnot. So lots of different solutions. Of course, I can't tell you which one we're gonna and ultimately end up with. I'm unfortunately I'm many things, but I'm not a site whatever the term is for someone who looks into the future. But yeah, we are working on it actively. There are lots of smart people chipping away at it.
The problem is a little bit too robust to explain accurately in a chat setting like this.
Oh yeah.
It's like a 3-page dossier that Chronopolis wrote on all of the factors that make communism strategies kind of sucky for people working individually. Generally speaking, in broad strokes, it's a consequence of having exponential efficiency gains from economic scaling, and also a consequence of Tech 2 and Tech 3 units being an order of magnitude more efficient per cost and effective versus the tier below. So where we're at now is the game design team, last I checked, doesn't have a perfect solution in mind, or one that's been identified that we're confident in saying, yeah, this is the way. And the community has made it painfully clear how complicated the issue is. So the floor is open at this point. Anybody can pitch their ideas and develop ideas and suggest it to be made part of the game, and we're receptive towards it. We'll experiment with anything that has a solid reasoning and a good amount of effort into developing it, and we'll try out and see which solution stands supreme as the best.
I think that's the best that the most of the community can really ask for, is the fact that it is being acknowledged as something to talk about. There is work in the background to try and make the right solution, but in particular that it is so heavily community driven. I think that's the right answer in this sort of situation, where we can't read through the entire document with everyone. But I'm just happy that it is being addressed as neither a positive thing or a negative thing, just as an aspect of the game that needs to be worked out. Now, I think we're at the stage of the night where we might look at, depending on what you guys are interested in, if you're looking to play in a match against everyone, we'd be happy to try and set something up with everyone jumping in as a devs versus players. But otherwise, we'll just keep going with the discussion. It's sort of all on you guys as to how you want this to play out. And then for the last game of the night, which will be after whatever happens with this one, it's going to be the three, myself, Twig, and Tank Tom versus everyone. So if you want to beat the AllReasonNoLogic team, which you almost certainly will, because 3 people's APM is not much, then we'll then that's going to be the final for our 1 year special. So, how what do you guys want to do? Because it's you guys that have made this possible to have these amazing interviews and to chat with everyone, and to keep everyone up to date with the game state, make this a pretty special 1 year for us. What do you guys want to do?
Well, we don't have too many folks left. We have Aurora here. There's myself. Flores is here, although I'm not sure how unfair it would be to have him on our team. We have Jack. We have Seth.
Between us, we've got 9. That's a full Kings team.
I'm chickening out.
Fair enough.
Aw,
Fair
come
enough.
on.
Well, if anyone does want to play in this one, then you are more than welcome to jump in, and it would be, then we can critique and comment on how it's going.
Yeah, I just jumped in, so
Nice.
feel free to put me on team 2 so I can, obviously sell and make the Kings lose.
All right, what is your in-game name?
The exact same as here. Zephyr, guys, I should be right in the middle with the little badge.
Oh yeah, we can find you guys with the badges. There it is. Let's make this team 2. Okay, I can't make you team 2 because I'm not a boss, because I've had to jump into the game a few times. There we go. Alrighty then. There we go. We're seeing a couple of the moderator badges in. The moderator or dev badges in there. That is super exciting. And I will join as well. I think Tank Tom and Twig, you need to be down here too. So while this is being set up, I've tried to cover as broad of a set of topics as I can. I've tried to tailor questions to you guys, but this is an opportunity for you to talk to the community. Is there anything that I haven't covered that you guys wanted to chat about with upcoming bar, current bar, or past bar?
I do, but I'll let someone else go first.
And
I guess it's me.
It's you.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I guess one thing I want to say is that I've been helping Zekris, try and dial down the Legion, the balance aspect for Legion units as well as the models.
Mm-hmm.
And for the first time, I've started to try and branch out and see where I can make an effect and address some issues in the larger game for all 3 factions. And the first step of that was a new, I'm sure you've seen, some folks have seen it already, which is the proposed naval balance tweaks. It's in the experimental tab. It's 3 new T1 turrets for on the naval theater to replace the floating heavy laser towers. And the more folks that can give it a go and test it out and leave feedback, the better.
Mm-hmm.
That mod option will grow over time. Currently, I have 6 adjustments planned, and that's the first one, and more will be included in that mod option. So the more people that give insight into how that plays out, that would be really great for me, because then it's better. It's a lot more information that I can work with to help ensure that Navy goes into a bit of a nicer direction, at least as far as I personally can take it.
I'll be very happy to see the how Navy develops. I'm going to say that because I'm bad at Navy, and anything which changes it might make me better.
No, that's part of it. I mean, it's not just, of course, high-level players giving their input on how interactions play out is super duper important. But we don't just make the game for the pros. We make the game for normal folks like you and me, for mere mortals like us too. So, getting feedback from them is on all of us. It's really important as well.
That is actually an interesting question, because how do you balance between a large portion of the community that sits below below the 20 OS line, but then the most competitive players sitting up above the 50 OS players. I know from King of the Hill, when you chuck somebody like, let's have a look, who's top in the lobby at the moment. If you chuck someone like Malady in one of the wings, that wing is going to do very, very well, even though they have the exact same tools as everyone else. Whereas if you put someone like someone in the lower OSs that has a bit of trouble in one of the co-op positions, we're not seeing the 2-minute labs, we're seeing the 5-minute labs, things along those lines. How do those discussions go? Because I imagine, being community driven, that there's a lot of pushback and a lot of not necessarily pushback, a lot of discussion in that top end. But some of that just wouldn't potentially work for the more casual players.
I feel like it's a very very delicate thing to handle. Top level players are fantastic at sort of finagling out very strange and particular interactions out of units, and then running with that and making an entire meta just out of that. They are very insightful on where things might be lopsided on a larger scale that just normal regular players will just never even encounter or even care about, because a lot of players are just they play co-op, they play skirmish. So there's no easy answer to that, obviously. It's always a continuous push and pull process between the community and the balance team to sort of come to a concession on multiple different things, on multiple different points, to ensure that there's the expression, the balance team there, and also the satisfaction of the community there. And part of that comes down to sort of understanding where your community stands, and that's where folks like Seth are super integral to that sort of discussion, because without people dedicated to ensuring that there's a dialogue between those two teams, it kind of becomes very messy. So it can even become quite combative at points, and obviously everybody wants the same thing. The devs want the game to be great and fun to play. The players want the game to be great and fun to play. Everybody's going towards the same goal. So it's always a bit of we got to play fast and loose with situations like that, where the balance can become maybe okay for pros, but then completely incomprehensible to normal people, or okay for normal people, but completely and utterly unplayable for people who play at a very high level. There's no one size fits all answer for anything, but I feel like with the amount of knowledge, the amount of skill that we have on the game development team and on the balance team, it results in way more hits than misses, I would say.
I for one am very happy with how the balance is in Bar. You usually end up in games that feel not necessarily one-sided. I'm sorry, very much so not one-sided, but they don't feel so they don't feel so perfectly matched. Sorry, I'm not saying this very well. It feels like you can make a difference when you play in a team. The game is balanced enough, but there's enough variance that you feel like you can be the player that tips the balance, which is a fantastic spot to be in. And for those of you that do watch our content, we've completed a road to 25 OS for myself and Tank Tom, and now the three of us are working on a road to 30. We're doing reasonably well in that, so we might even expand it out to 35 and 40. And one of the areas we're trying to talk on a lot is what we see as defining factors that let you increase that OS. And a lot of them are decision making, a lot of them are map awareness, things along those lines. So if anyone is interested in that, then do join, do watch those ones and give us feedback. Yeah. Particularly, we are looking for community members to play with us in some of those games. And if you have something to teach us, do not hold back. And if you want to learn the same lessons we're learning, that's exactly what we're doing. And hopefully we'll end up with a bit of a series where we can look at where we can help to bridge some of the gaps between the casual and the high OS players, and hopefully maybe that'll help some of the discussions around balance and things along those lines.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like Zhao, who is one of our mentors, put it best recently, which is that it's not always about it's not always about who's who's the most skilled when it comes to actually like making the game. It's actually quite rare that in video game development that the people who make the game are the people who play the game the most. You only have so many hours in one day. But Zhao has said, if I'm correct, actually, yes. So he said that small manageable changes to balance that reduces scope to something more manageable, documented, well-intended thought processes behind every change, with what interactions you would want out of those changes outlined clearly. Feedback discussions between the change owner and feedback providers. It's used to find ways to improve the original concept. I think very principles like those really do make or break sort of balanced development, and I feel like our team has done a really good job, at least on the GDT and BLT, to ensure that those principles are kept up. And of course, there's areas we can improve. We're not perfect, but I would be remiss to say that I'm not proud of the team for what they've done.
Just had a better strategy has been adding a lot in chat. So if you're in the Twitch, definitely been talking quite a lot about the some of the balances, and in particular talking about some of the differences that help between casual and pros. Also, Jade Gaming, thank you for the offer. We will 100% do that, and if you're comfortable being in a video, we would love to have you join us for a replay, so you can tear us to shreds and teach the community things. That'd be pretty amazing. Also, this is one's particularly for you guys. I don't think there's anyone here on the sound team, but if you can pass this one on, one of the comments on the YouTube is that the menu music is a banger, which I agree with completely.
I think we're about to break a record here. This is looking like AllReasonNoLogic's King of the Hill's biggest game yet. We've got 116 peasants up against the 9 kings. Get nervous, boys.
Devs
This
versus
unit cap is gonna be horrific.
Devs versus players, and we're gonna have the unit count of a peanut. Oh, that's actually something that I really did want to ask. Unit cap sliders. It's divided equally amongst all players. Is there any chance that over the next, 2 years or something, that we might be able to split it 50-50 between teams?
That, I think, is a Floris and Seth question.
Well, there is somebody who made a PR for the engine that I could reassign unit caps to different teams and players.
Ooh.
But it's been months, and the one who did it isn't around anymore, and the engine developers are swamped with other stuff. So
what you're saying,
already kind of there.
So what you're saying is that if somebody was to potentially need that feature, it might be on them to find the resources that already exist and see if they can't put something together themselves. Is that what I'm getting?
Well, it was tweaked, and I think it needs a round of testing or something. That what it says it does, it actually does, and then I think it can be merged or something like that. But I'm not an engine developer. I made the game support the feature already, so I was going out in front of the fanfare. But fanfare, I don't know if that is an English word, but the music, not a Dutch saying anyway. So yes, in 2 years, possibly, maybe.
Very, very awesome. And I might actually reach out to see if I can't assist in that over the next little while. I've got a busy period coming up around Christmas, coming up between now and Christmas, but maybe early next year there'll be an opportunity for me to, if not make a mark on the game, but to actually help someone else make one. So that'd be great. But it looks like we are all getting ready to, or quite a lot of us getting ready to load into game. In order to, make the player numbers work, I did jump out of the team. So we do have the 9 kings with devs and Twig and Tank Tom, and then that'll give me the opportunity to continue chatting and commentate this one a little bit, which is something we've been missing over the course of the night.
Please don't distract us, pray. We've had a question in here how the typical kings start. So usually you'll get one king in the middle that will take all 8 of those mexes and just really try and get that T3 eco as quick as possible. And then 6 mexes around the outside, kind of divided by those cliffs. You can see Aurora down on the south there. I've got lag on my drawing tool.
Me too.
Yeah, I do too.
But yeah, just essentially where Aurora's starting, there'll be the 2 mexes either side of their commander, and then there's 4 below that towards the ramps where the lava is. It's the best way to do it. That's the current meta for kings on Raptor Creator anyway.
I think once all the players load in and place, we might be able to draw again. But while we're setting up, I actually think this is going to be my opportunity, and so it's not just saved to the end so that people don't drop off for it. But I just do want to really give my heartfelt thanks to everyone that's come on to the stream tonight to chat with us. Interacting with the devs is not something that we ever thought we would be doing when we started this channel. And to have you guys show up for our 1-year anniversary event and to talk to the community about the state of the game, about what you're working on it, I'm very glad that we had this opportunity, because I think that for the YouTube community, for the Twitch community, this is a bit of an opportunity to show off just how much there is going on with the game and how much the people working on it are doing. Because this is a volunteer process, and so was that the drawing tool? This is a volunteer process, and these guys have taken time out of their day to come and chat with you guys and to interact with the community. So if we can in chat, I'd love to grab a big thanks from everyone who's watching, and if you're listening in game, would love to see those in-game comments as well, just to thank everyone that's come out here tonight.
Yeah, for me, I'm not someone who's completely, I guess some of our audience members are unfamiliar with. I have been here, on the bar stream here and there, of course, but for various reasons. So I was there for Faction Wars and the developer interviews there. I was there for a little bit on the 60K event briefly. But really, I wanted to ensure that folks on our team who usually don't get a chance to talk and brag about the work they've done got a chance to do that today, and I'm glad it all worked out, and it seems like everybody had a lot of fun, and it seems like I hope that the audience here enjoyed having our developers and artists talk a little bit about their experience.
Thanks very much, Saf, help getting everyone together and sending through a bit of information about everyone. I've certainly liked listening in, and of course you, Pray, the man with the words. I got no idea how to interview people, but cheers for the 2 of you sorting that out. It's been really good to listen to for the last couple of hours.
Battle started.
We're off.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, you're joining us on the 1-year anniversary of King of the Hill. We've just had some amazing dev interviews, and now we've thrown them into the deep end. It is devs plus Twig and Tank Tom versus the world. You are seeing that correctly. There are 116 comms for the peasants and 9 for the kings. The bonuses has been ramped all the way up to 100. And we're going to see exactly how much we can distract the devs while they play. This is your opportunity to show off just how much you know about the game and just how much you've learnt from all the work they've put in. So make sure you throw every tactic you can at them. Everything under the sun, from invisible units to your radar jammer balls to mass spam. Your T3 units, see what you can do. Try and destroy every lane in a different way. That's the best way to show off your love for the devs. But they do have that big plus 100, which means they're going to be scaling like absolute crazy. quick rundown of what's going on if you're joining us for this 1-year anniversary and you haven't played before. King of the Hill pits a small number of players against a very, very large one. The only difference between the teams is the bonus. In this case, it is plus 100%, but usually we hover that anywhere between 45 and 70. The Kings have a few positions in the middle of the map. We have the middle eco player. This player's job is to boom their eco as hard as they possibly can and potentially shore up any gaps or push out where they need to. That's going to be taken on by Flo, who is one of the devs that's been on the channel with us tonight and been an absolute phenomenal contributor right from the beginning of Bar. Then we have all of these different lanes. Each player is responsible for taking up one of these sides. It's important to grab all 6 of the mechs available to you and to get those defenses up for the 10-minute mark. If you can have a fusion, potentially more with a plus 100 bonus, as well as T2 units and defenses by the 10-minute mark, you're doing it very, very well. Around the outside, there are more players than there are position, which means that the co-op is going to be absolutely insane. If we look at a few of these corners, you can already see it. T2 lab up for a couple of the veterans here. They're going to be making life very difficult. Your job, if you're in the corner, is to build up that eco as much as you possibly can and share it out to the rest of the team. So, for example, if you can give all of the mechs, if you can give T2 constructors to the players around you, you're going to have a very, very good time, particularly if it comes off nice and early. If you're directly in front of one of the ramps or to the side, you have to work out whether you're going to be on offense or defense. Try to push into the middle of the map because we do know that aggression wins games. Do the best that you can to hold those ramps against what the Kings can push against you, but keep the pressure on. If the Kings lose access to the light colored donut around the middle, they're going to be in trouble. Now you probably noticed the lovely lava around the map. This is a 10-minute no rush timer which drops away, and until that point there is no combat. Do not use your buildings to attack. And other than that, try to do your best and have some fun. Hopefully we'll see some big units and some awesome strategies around this one. Joining us in the middle, we have Aurora, who is one of the Overwatch techs. We have Zephyr Skies, who you've been hearing talk to me quite a lot tonight. Been working on the game and in absolutely amazing ways. We have Seth D in the bottom lane, currently looking at those early defenses, spending that money unwisely, good sir. Boost that eco nice and early. Jack on the next position around, been getting those units for a big offensive push. Robert the Pie on the right. Twig, we don't really care about Twig and Tank Tom. They're in the top side. And then we have You Be Dead in the top left. So and in the middle of the, I did say floor in the middle of the map. So fully stacked team of developers and moderators throughout the bar community, and they are up against some big names that we've seen in the past. We do see players from the AllReasonNoLogic community spread all around the map. So this one should be quite a good one, with the ecos coming together. We do see Twig getting that T2 out nice and early. Twig, what's your go-to for this one? What's your plan?
React to the double the resources that we usually get, and I'm thinking I could even get T3 out by the 10-minute mark if I'm lucky.
There you go, everyone. So top right-hand lane, the brown player, that'll be Twig. He's going to be going for T3, so make sure to crush him nice and early. Up against him, I do see War Hunter Diablo and Team Newt. Team Newt, make sure to put that pressure on and make him regret that over-ambitious start. Now, jumping around the map, we do see the rest of the corners going into a mix of co-op. We do see the T2 lab getting reclaimed in the bottom right-hand side. These guys are going to be very metal rich because of those 2 comms that have been sacked to get this one up. I do see quite a few of the constructors moving around, everyone taking their roles quite seriously. With 116 players on the team, this is going to be a very rough one for the Kings. Just the sheer number of comms are going to be absolutely wild that you have to deal with. Something which is definitely worth noting, the comm is a crazily powerful unit at the 10-minute mark, which means that the more of them you can put at the entrance, the harder it's going to be for the Kings to push out. We are starting to see some pretty good economies, though, from the devs in the middle of the map. We do have the T2 coming down at the bottom of the map. In the center of the map, T2 Lab being reclaimed by Flo. Flo has played this one quite a few times before, which means that his knowledge is going to be significantly higher than a lot of the devs that we've thrown into the deep end on this one. We do see a second fusion coming up for Aurora, though. At the beginning of these interviews, Aurora mentioned that they're not they don't play the game as much as they used to, but the fact that their second fusion at 7 minutes seems to indicate that they may, even if they don't play as much, they definitely have earned their position. They've definitely earned their position as a strong player. So we'll see how they go. For those of you that are unfamiliar, great defenses include beamers and any pop-up turret. The T2 turrets are not as effective against T1 units because while they have the damage, the slow rate of fire means that you overspend that damage on a single unit. If you are building an agitator, please make sure that you put that onto hold fire. That's you, Ragnarix, and that is you, Seth, as well. Unfortunately, no moderators. All the moderators are in game, so that one's going to be hard to deal with at the moment. Sorry, just trying to. Unfortunately, I do not have the powers to deal with that one, so can somebody please let him know on the team to stop shooting that one, or to head... Yeah, there we go. That has been paused. Make sure that that is not shooting buildings. Now, we do have... Oop. And as we say that, Seth has shot a building as well. Chuck that one onto hold fire. It has been. Apologies, War of Death. We do have a lot of new players over here. Anyone who has a little bit of conversion that they could send to War of Death, that would be appreciated. Nightmare is letting us know of the ban. There we go. Actually, we do have Nightmare in chat. It does look like some of those units are being deleted. Alright, we can give that one an unpause. The unit's been put on hold fire, and Nightmare will likely clear that one out ASAP as well. Some interesting chats. People talking about how it isn't the dev's fault, it's just their coding's fault. The turret shot automatically. Sorry about the slight pause. It is, there are a lot of people in the lobby, but we are back up and running now. With a little over 1 minute to go, we should start seeing some pretty solid defenses here. I have a feeling, though, that this match will have a few open lanes that people have to deal with. Twig, how's that T3 going?
Yeah, maybe not going to get there. I've got the metal for it, I just can't spend it fast enough.
That's because you don't have the build turrets, mate. But that is a-okay. 1 minute to go. We see a decent amount of forces on the map. Between the two teams, 350. We've got another 50 seconds, and we'll see how that one goes. Some interesting unit choices too. I did ask for every strategy under the sun, and I do believe a few of you heard me. I'm going to be quite excited to see where that one lands. And yes, I did see the ping, so if that's if you are on the Peasants team, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. Oh, that was a tight spot for that one, and a very ambitious T2 Lab coming out of Jade Moo. Right on the ramp, that one's going to get units to the front line quite quickly, but it is also blocking vital defensive space. I feel like a plus 100 bonus may not have been enough for this match, but with 10 minutes expired, the lava is down, and we are off to the races. 500 units on the map, and it does look like the big pressure's coming in on the bottom right. Lots of units here ready to go, but they are going to be going up against a decent number of units as well. Thugs and pawns, these newly redesigned thugs. Look at those feet. But the ticks have gotten their way around. There is no second line of defenses. All of these players are going to have to react to make sure that the turrets are eating those ticks, otherwise they're going to get into the conversion. Does look like Jack is going to be the first to take base damage, but the ticks are splitting their damage, so they didn't get the converters to the right at the very end. They could have done a lot there, but it was cleaned up. Does look like we have an open lane just here. The amount of units that the peasants can bring to bear is crazy. A small attack on the top left going towards You Be Dead, and now moving down towards Aurora. These blitzers have tried to make their way through, but the Karganeth is great at clearing out spam. We didn't expect it when we started King of the Hill, but the Karganeth is supremely good at clearing out spam. So no damage done other than a single mex from that attack. But the leaks from the bottom half have struck in and managed to take out the T1 conversion of Rob, thankfully not the T2. And that does mean we've reached some sort of, to an extent, a stalemate in the middle. Defenses are holding nicely around the rest of the map. Units are here to try and deal with the rest of the spam units making their way in. And we do have Flow in the middle of the map, starting to send those T2 units out to help defend and help shore up the bottom of the map. Question is, where are the Kings going to attack? And I reckon the Kings need to find a lane to push down, because there's a scary attack coming from the top of the map. Sheldon's inside of the Deceivers are going to have a good fight against static defenses. The static defenses, whilst they are incredibly strong individually, because their inability to move, they are not so good against these sorts of sieging units. And with the Mammoth giving some vision, the only possible better thing could be some spam. There are units behind to deal with it once they break through, but unfortunately it is going to... There are the Fiends moving around that may or may not move towards those defensive units. If they get to run amok, they could be a problem, but Tigers coming to intercept, and Tigers are a good counter to the Fiends. Decent enough speed to have that skirmish, but plenty of tankiness to deal with the fire. Does look like we're having some shenanigans moving towards the middle of the map. Rob the Madman, I love what you're doing over here. The question is, will it be effective? I think you're doing this early enough that the defenses won't be in place. You just have to pick your target, and based on the scouting information, you have a decent idea of what you're going to be going up against, and it does look like you've found your target. One of these gremlins is starting to pick off the conversion for the middle of the map, but they unfortunately picked their timing between two beamers, so only the one attack. It also looks like the scuttle has been cleaned up, but T3 already heading towards Zephyr Skies. This is going to be a rough one to hold, because the middle of the map is only producing T2. In fact, the whole team has plenty of metal. They're just suffering on the build power to get it out.
You know what the real problem is? The unit cap. I am struggling. I can't even do any sort of spam. Just keeps stalling.
Oh dear.
Throw them at the enemy.
Anything alive, throw it at the enemy. Give units to players that are missing. Unfortunately, even though the player count looks impressive, with the limited units per player, we might have run into a potential issue just here, putting the Kings on quite the back foot. However, that is not stopping Aurora, who is up on the top of the map, the left of the map, and has taken out multiple bases. Those Karganeths at this time in the game are incredibly strong. They just have to avoid comms. Invisible comms can absolutely rip Karganeths to shred if they are grouped like we just saw there. Thankfully, more Karganeths on the way, and with an income of 250, they are going to be able to power themselves out, especially with the overflow from a couple of the other comms. So the Kings do have a potential foothold in the high ground. The Peasants are going to have to clean that one up, but the spam is coming down for Twig. Unfortunately, too many T1 units and not enough T3 units, so These could potentially sneak by. Hopefully we'll see some big action going on there in a second. But for now, the Karganeth's looking for another avenue of attack. All of these ramps, not where you want to go. They're going to be very heavily defended. But up the sides of the cliffs, well, that's what a Karganeth does best. All-terrain vehicles are, in fact, for all-terrain. We didn't give them wheels. We gave them claws and spider legs, and they're using them to great effect. And this is going to be another base potentially taken out. There is a Razorback coming in to deal with it. Razorbacks do trade reasonably efficiently with the Karganeths, particularly if the Karganeths are separated as they are, and the Razorbacks allowed to take them on one at a time. It is the surround bonus that the Karganeths could use to take out the Razorback, but if not, it is going to hold the top for now. A pushback on the top side, we do have some T1 and T2 tanks by UB Dead trying to make its way up the ramp, but they're about to run into a huge world of pain. We do have beamers, we do have pulsars. It is siege that's going to be needed, the vanguards, and the catapults going to be the big ticket items. Twig, on the other hand, ignoring all sorts of defenses. T1 helping demons push out, and we know the complete and total efficacy of demons for pushes in King of the Hill. The demon can sometimes feel a little bit on the fragile side in a regular game, but in Kings, with just how compact the ecos are, with the fact that the comms are one of the biggest dangers to T3 units early on, these units are absolute powerhouses to push through and do as much damage as they possibly can in the early to mid game. They come up plenty cheap, they feel plenty strong against T1 and minor T2, and once their flames start, there is very little that can stop them. Hot Potato about to grab one with a D gun, but if Twig had microed those a little bit better, would have grabbed that comm and blown it up in the middle of the defenses. But the attack has petered out, and it's going to be up to Twig to find a new attack avenue. Does look like at the top of the map, Tank Tom going with a similar strategy. He did manage to take out that T2 lab built on the ramp. But now we have demons moving up, supported by tigers and grunts. A little bit of spam to try and protect from those comms. It is the comms that are going to be the biggest threat. Thankfully, though, Soul Hunters does not have theirs invisible, so it can be taken out very quickly. Look how much damage it does, even with just a second looking at it. The comm does manage to get the D-gun, but does go down to the demons. A second one coming up, trying to chase Pendragons. A Pendadragon, I guess. It's comm, but has turned invisible, is going to claim... Oh, that was close. Thought it was going to claim that demon, but the demon is now walking away into another eco, so Tank Tom's got a nice push heading up over here, and similarly on this side as well. So Tank Tom's splitting their attention to try and do as much damage as possible. Bottom side of the map has somewhat managed to stabilize, but with the siege units here, along with the invisible units and the spam, it does look like these players are in for an absolute hammering. Come on, guys. These are the devs. You gotta be kind to the devs, right? Still, with 3 pushing lanes, there is a lot of damage available, but there are pros that are spread all around the map. We just missed Paulmont taking out one of the demons that Tank Tom was pushing around. Paulmont very experienced with these comms. The Kargis on the left side, out of Aurora, they're grouping up and they are starting to get a lot of damage done. If there was any sort of spam in front of them, they would be safe from this comm, but the Shivas are actually very good in the terms of a sacrificial unit, nice and cheap T3, and now that it is visible, those Kargis should be able to take them out. But Barbie Commander, absolutely devastating D-guns there, 8 kills, all of which are almost certainly T3. So Brandtime and Barbie Commander managing to hold this one up, and the longer these areas hold, the more time the peasants will have to catch up to the kings, because right now the economies are reasonably even, give or take the reclaim, and the kings cannot afford to get themselves the reclaim bots to the same extent that the peasants can, because they do not have the unit cap. So it's going to be sending units and sending them hard. It does look like a Tsar push out of Rob is coming up his ramp, doing a good job of clearing and we've just seen them taking out a comm in quick order. This is a somewhat undefended section, and those Zars could be used to lob shells up into the high ground, which would do an amazing amount of damage. So the King's doing a great job of pushing out on the left and on the right, as well as the top of the map, but the peasants are holding very nicely, and at 20 minutes, if there isn't more of the map broken, then the Kings are in trouble. Their saving grace is the fact that they are economy scaling at 100%. Any of the players that do have a moment to help some of the Kings that have been stuck on the bottom half of the map, getting absolutely assaulted by all of the players working together, could definitely do some value. Sending units to players that are that have had their bases somewhat eliminated, giving away some of your eco and your build power to get them back into the map will do wonders. Just don't give away things you can't afford. But if you look at the bottom right of the screen, it is a little hard to see it. It's now at the top. The Kings are basically maxed out on metal and energy, which means that they've produced more eco than they can spend, so it is build power, and T3 that's going to be the name of the game from this point forward, so long as they can get it. And speaking of, Flow is trying to push out at yet another lane. We do have pushing coming in the lane next to it, but plenty of Razorbacks, plenty of Banishers, and other T2 units to try to deal with this. Hopefully they can make it up the ramp, but with some great defenses out of the peasants and Psycho Pew Pews comm in the middle of the ramp, this attack has been thwarted. Something to bear in mind, it is not your ramp you have to attack. If there is a point that's been breached, that is one of the best places to attack, because getting up the ramps is the hard bit, rolling around the map not quite so much. And it does look like Twig and Tank Tom's attacks have somewhat stalled out, which means that none of the corners have fallen by the 21-minute mark, which is not a good sign for the Kings. Still, the economy is not too far in favour of the peasants, though these corners are coming online in a very big way. In fact, a lot of these players are nice amount of wind, nice amount of Aphis, and just the sheer number of players allowing for this incredible amount of units across the map. Currently, army values sitting at 415,000 for the peasants and 340,000 for the Kings. You would expect the peasants to be higher though, because the Kings are attempting to throw their units away as fast as possible so that they can actually build more. Any damage done is good damage done. Speaking of which, Twig is heading down to the bottom half of the map with his demons. These units have the opportunity to do a lot of damage right now, but Pulsars coming up on the high ground will start to shut this down soon. So if this attack doesn't get decent damage done, then it's going to be a lot harder for the next one to come through. It's going to need spam, and it's going to need a lot more numbers. Still, a player basically eliminated at this point, but only 2 of those demons, now 1 of them back. So 4 demons traded for the space of one of these ridges. That is a hefty cost, and it does look like they're going to be starting to face demons of their own if they start moving towards the top half of the map. Very well defended on the bottom half of the map. This has been constant fighting. Seth has been under a lot of strain in this match, with very, very little in the way to defend him left, with these Razorbacks coming in, reset multiple times, but unfortunately just has not been able to recover once those units are getting in. The T2 lab is down, the build power is not there. If anyone could build power and send it to him, he does have the overflow metal and energy to actually get those T3 units out, which could help in a big way. But helping out here, the Flow is here with the T3 units as well as Seth's T2 units to try and clear this up and push it back yet again. Kings on the defense, which is definitely not what you want to see as a Kings player at the 23-minute mark. And the scariest thing is that a lot of these players are yet to come online in a really big way. The top left side is about to be hit by a large number of vanguards. The top right side is about to be hit by a large number of catapults, and that is going to absolutely shift the state of the game. The Kings have been on the offense in the top half of the map, the peasants on the bottom half of the map, and now we're into the stage where T3 units are viable and mass producible. and that is going to be very, very hard for the Kings to deal with. I think we'll see 1 or 2 more good pushes out of the Kings, but then after that they're going to be on the defensive, and it will come down to winning a big fight with a large army value in the base, and then being able to push up before it's rebuilt. Does look like we're seeing Twig also moving to those catapults in the right hand side. Unfortunately, a lot of them too far forward for the spam. The thug spam instead of anything cheaper, just to try and survive those extra shots and deal with some of the spam of its own. I do like that firing onto the high ground. J Frost in trouble, most of the economy destroyed, and all these shots are being spotted for by the Karganeths. Karganeths combo really well with a lot of the other units, whether it's demons so that you can attack the front and the... Whoa, what just happened there?
Scuttled, I think. I think I got scuttled.
It's awesome. I missed that, but Twig just got his entire T3 army scuttled, which is not something you see every day, but very, very fantastic. That was
awesome.
in excess
Not
of
at all.
30,000 metal worth of damage done by a scuttle. Very nicely done. Here we go. This is a shift in the pace of the game. The Kings are onto the Behemoth tier, and they are sending them up the ramp. We do have a large number of Razorbacks trying to push past, but pushing past is not killing the Behemoth. The Behemoth will be taken down by comms, so the Razorbacks killing the spam is going to make a big difference here. We do see iPhone Pro, Manbear Pig, and Scarv all here ready to take on those Behemoths. Unfortunately, it is just a rough fight right now, and it's going to be up to Zephyr Sky's Vanguards to snipe those comms with the Vanguards each time they become visible. But that is going to be made harder by the high ground catapults that Duffy is controlling. They're going to be dueling with the Vanguards. We are seeing a lot of some Junos going down on the peasants. They're a little bit deep for the time being. Not supposed to be targeting units, but with so many peasants on board, it's almost impossible not to hit something if the Kings are on the offensive. So we're going to let this one slide for now, especially considering how bad of a spot the Kings are in. The bottom side of the map is being pushed with Pulsars, Spam, and Fat Boys, but plenty of Titans and Razorbacks to deal with this one. Twig is attempting offense with Juggernaut yet again, just crushing all of the wreckages underfoot. This is something you have to do in these games. You've got to send units that do not care about those wreckages, because anything smaller than that, and you will end up finding out that pathing is a very, very large issue, or at least it can be. First shot out of that Juggernaut goes straight into some conversion and mass reacts with absolutely everything. We at AllReasonNoLogic are big advocates for building your wind in rows of 2. However, King of the Hill can make that quite hard because of the sheer size of the map and how little of it you have individually. So you do what you can with what you have, and if you're at the front, if they do get into your wind, they're probably getting into a lot more, so it is not a big deal. We are seeing Tank Tom has been essentially stopped at the top side of the map. Behemoths have been trying to roll their way in, but have just been sniped by comm after comm after comm. It is going to be incredibly rough without a beachhead for the Kings to continue pushing up. Twig scared to move forward because of the sniper army, making it very difficult for that Juggernaut. Even a Juggernaut is susceptible to snipers in enough numbers. But there is the counter. All Twig needs to do is work out where those units are and drop the fire down on from the catapults. But firing catapults is risky because you do see where those rockets come from. They're very visible. You can counter fire, and these catapults do not have anywhere to go. On that ramp, they can either go forwards or backwards, and that is it. You have to try and break the ramps before too long, otherwise you will be having concentrated fire raining down upon you. Most of the snipers taken out by a couple of the shots, but Twig is struggling to make it up the ramp. Even the beefy thugs are not working as spam. Does it look like the push on the left-hand side out of the peasants has started in earnest? We do have a Sheldon Ball making its way at Aurora's T3 lab. The T3 lab is going to go down. Thankfully, this is the one producing Karganeths, not the one producing Behemoths, and the Behemoths should be able to push this back. But with good defensive bastions on the high ground by Storm 24, these have been built after the eco was destroyed, which means that they are legal to hold that ground, and they will be chipping damage away at these Behemoths as they walk past to deal with the problem. Thankfully, Behemoth's really tanky. Does look like we have Robert pushing up to the top of his ramp with a Juggernaut. Does get D-gun, but that is the calm down and a potential opening to push through. It is being defended right now by Sheldons, but one good shot from a large explosive round out of these Tsars will deal a huge amount of damage, and with more Juggernauts on the way, this is going to start being problematic for the peasants, but they have managed to keep the Kings nice and contained. This is going to be a very, very hard one going from this point out, because the economy is now firmly in favor of the peasants, and that means the unit cap and the ability to build those units is in favor of the peasants. The army value is approximately equal, but as time goes on, the peasants should start to pull ahead. Also, another thing to bear in mind, a lot of the army value is in Behemoths. There are currently 11 Behemoths on the map for the Kings, and whilst they're incredibly strong bastions of damage, they cannot be everywhere at once, and once they choose where they're going to be, it's going to be a very long time before they choose to be somewhere else. So they will not be helpful in any defense or offense except in the direction that they are going in. Another D-gun by the Peasants team taking out the Juggernauts. Juggernauts very strong, but they are very weak when there are still 68 comms left on the map. Twig is still trying to push up the high ground, this time 2 Juggernauts instead of 1, but the catapults have been mostly eliminators, and they are being replaced with Shivas for that little bit of extra pushing power. Doesn't look like there are any comms until he gets to the next ramp to deal with this one, so hopefully that damage will be able to be put down before the comms become too much of an issue. One of the things to bear in mind is that Juggernauts are walking nukes, particularly if you control D them. If they are control D, they deal significantly more damage. Doesn't look like one of them going down to a D-gun right there, though Clone 0 looks like we're going to chalk that up as Clone number 1 best shot. But a comm going down to the defensive line, that means that it is just one comm left to defend this one. Shiva's already starting to get into the base. The thugs hopefully will start getting in there as well once the Juggernaut helps to clear out the catapults. Some chain reactions up the top from a good shot from the Juggernaut there. Behemoths on the march, very, very slowly, but they are coming up the ramp. No comms in sight to stop Aurora's push. Hopefully we will see big damage being done here if they can get to the edge of any of these cliffs and just fire ground towards them. Those the large behemoth cannon will just run along the ground and hit whatever is up there. So that is the opportunity to take out an Aphis without even having to walk them up the cliff. But they are so slow, it's giving the opportunity for enemy comms to get into position to deal with this. Question is going to be how many D-guns do they get off before the fire destroys them? Just the one. That is a rough time. That could have been a lot more damage done to the behemoths, but there is another comm coming in to try and deal with these ones. Question is, how many D-guns is it going to get off? It looks like 1, 2 behemoths down, and then pulling away before the other 3. Oh no, the top of the map completely missed this one while looking at those. Completely overwhelmed Tank Tom.
I did not hear a thing out of you, Tom.
Tank Tom not telling his team that there is a problem, and it is a big problem. 22 vanguards, 31 snipers, and all of the spam as well as the bulls. This is going to be a big problem, and with very little time to react to it, the Kings may not be able to. The Shivas are already in the base, the Demons are in the base, the Karganeths are in the base. These are all rezzed Karganeths. That is a very viable strategy. That is the first set of oh dear, ever so slightly too close, and Flo is out of the match. That chain reacts over to Robert as well. That is 3 players down in the matter of seconds, and the King's economy dropping to 1,600 metal per second. I'm sorry, lads, but Tank Tom, you need to say something. That's the King's team done for, in my opinion. So there you go, lads. The devs can handle themselves, but AllReasonNoLogic falls a little behind right there. But very well done to hold on this long against this sort of pressure. The army value is 74% in favor of the kings. Oh, sorry, of the peasants right now. And that is something that's going to be way too hard to recover for. The kings do need to go for those slightly earlier wins, or the absolutely insane ability to produce unlimited top tier tier 3. And unfortunately, neither of those achieved. But considering that a lot of these players have never touched King of the Hill before, or touched it only once or twice, this was a prolific showing out of them. So very, very well done. Does look like Twig might be next on the chopping block. His conversion taken out as well, or most of his conversion taken out as well, is producing approximately equal to what he can spend, but the metal just is not there to defend both the front and the back, and attacking down his lane is all of his units being rezzed, as well as a large number of catapults. So it does look like the peasants need to get the aggression on and break their way into the map. While this is, while we're in the last throws of the map, how did you guys find your experience in the middle of the map against so many players?
I found it fun. It was a pretty enjoyable experience. I did. I'm in pain because I didn't know that I was against the rules, but otherwise, yeah. It was fun.
That's good. One of the things I like about King of the Hill is that win or lose, you get to play the game differently to how you normally would, and you get to get a lot of you get to get a lot of units to throw at a problem.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I definitely did not think that I would last as long as I did, because obviously I was in the at the beginning of the match. I was like, oh, I better set up defenses quickly. They're gonna rush me. And I was like, oh my god, I have 10 minutes to just do whatever I want with my eco. I completely forgot.
Yep.
10 minutes to eco is nearly enough to get an Avis up.
It is at
it
plus
wasn't
100. For me. At plus 100, if these mexes weren't so spread out, you can very easily get two Aphis by 10 minutes. It's absolutely crazy, but just the sheer walking time slows you down, because it's the first 2 or 3 minutes of the game that determine just how quickly you can scale.
Yes,
but very well done, considering that you guys have not had the opportunity to build to follow the meta of the game over the course of a year. One thing I'm very glad about is that the peasants didn't decide to do something which they've done in the past, which is everyone builds 50-odd T1 units and attacks at 10 minutes, because that's a lot of units. That's a lot of units at 10 minutes.
That is a lot of units at 10 minutes. I had a feeling that the spam would come fast and quick, so I had set up twin guards by the dozen. And then they immediately got, entirely, evaporated away by 2 Razorbacks. So that was fun.
Yeah, the right counter for the right thing is a very important choice to make. Oh, looks like we've had the top left corner detonate. They know victory is in their grasp, so they do love getting those explosions in. And for everyone watching, next game is going to be our last game, and if the devs want to get their revenge for us throwing them in this situation, it's going to be everyone versus AllReasonNoLogic. And if 9 players couldn't beat 100, 3 definitely can't. So join us for that one, and just see how long we can last, I think is the important question there. As we are down to our last 2 comms for the Kings. Aurora's surrounded by behemoths. This will not go down without a fight, and I do not see the last comm.
Yeah, shout out to Aurora and Florus both. They were instrumental in keeping us alive as long as we did.
Absolutely insane plays. Though everyone did very well, considering that you didn't have the opportunity to see a lot of games beforehand to see the strategies. You should see some of the crazy stuff that players like Duffy get up to in the middle. Emir has this 14-minute push which is which just feels unstoppable. It's full of Karganeths, demons, and T1 spam. It's like, how do you have this at 14 minutes? And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. The peasant community has managed to beat the developers in this case, and we'll jump into the next one where everyone can have their opportunity to absolutely smash smash us at AllReasonNoLogic. In the intermission, I'm just going to give my voice a little bit of a break and let Twig and Tank Tom say some things, because I have been hogging the mic the whole night.
You're welcome to keep doing so, Prey. You're good at it. That was quite enjoyable. I could not get up the ramps. Managed to take out a few of the lower level peasants, but it's too strong up that top right corner. Well done to those guys. Tom. I had no idea you were falling. How embarrassing that we are the weak link. We are the weak link.
I didn't realize I was until I had the entire top third come crashing through all at once.
It's all right. We've only been doing this for a whole year. Oh well, good one, peasant. How are we going to do this? There's going to be approximately 700 unit cap for us on one team.
We're going to need a bunch of inactive. Is it AIs to get the
problem?
If
the
we
problem
take
is
them,
you
do
just
they
take them. No, they don't. We
Yeah.
still only have that. Just means we have more unit caps taken up by commanders.
Look, I think the answer is we just have to build lots of T3, and maybe if any of if Nightmare and Flo want to give us a hand from spectators to fix up any minor problems we might have, so that we last more than a minute. I think that might be the go-to.
I'm not against Nightmare dropping in a couple of those random units or Flow for us. I'm not against
what
it.
you're saying is if we just start with the full map of T2 mexes and build from there, then we should be okay.
Yeah, well, the way I feel like we're going to do this is almost like it's Raptors defense, but inside out.
I accidentally unbossed myself instead of upping myself to a 100 bonus. For those of you wondering, it's well and truly past midnight for us.
Oh yeah.
Guys, so I'll let everyone at the AllReasonNoLogic team close out the event with one last hurrah, you could say, and on behalf of everyone here who was able to come on and speak, really we really appreciate it. Thank you so much for having us on, letting us kind of talk a little bit about what we do and how we do it for the game. It's really as much of an honor for us to be able to interact with a community so directly like this, and especially such a wonderful community like this one. I really appreciate it. I appreciate any speaking opportunity, and I'm definitely sure everybody else on the team does too. So really, thank you for having us on, and thank you for the viewers for bearing with us while we yap away about development work.
Here.
Thank you so much, you guys, for jumping in.
To the devs in chat, if we can. This has been an absolutely heroic performance by them in game and in Discord as well. So we really appreciate it and show them some love for the game that we all enjoy as well. If you see them out in the community, say hi and make sure that you let them know your favorite parts of the game and your favorite parts that they have worked on. It makes a difference, and it makes a lot of this all very worth it. Thank you guys for joining us. I've had an incredible time talking to you guys. I had a bunch of pre-prepared questions, but so many of the interviews just went through naturally. I was basically just paraphrasing and trying to make sure that I covered a couple of things that we did. So phenomenal effort from you guys, and we here at AllReasonNoLogic appreciate it to an insane degree. We never thought a year ago that this is what we'd be doing for a 1-year anniversary. So thank you guys.
You're very much welcome, and to everyone watching, I enjoy the last game, and I'm definitely this is definitely not the last King of the Hill, not by a long shot. So It's great to see this alive and kicking, and I'm sure you guys are gonna make year 2 just as much of a banger as year 1, if not more so. So thank you everyone for watching. Thank you AllReasonNoLogic for hosting this awesome game mode. It's a great outlet for people who watch those big 50v50, 60v60, whatever you name it games, and actually be able to participate in these every week. So you really are making a difference for the community here. And that's it from me. I'll see you guys later. Have fun, everyone.
Thanks for joining us. And this is going to be All Reason No Logic versus the world. If only we were able to do lobby sim faster, that would have been a great transition into into the match.
We should probably ready up to help that out as well.
That's probably a good idea. So, remember how we rehearsed this? Left side, right side, middle? Like half a year ago?
Yeah, I can't remember anything about it.
So Twig gets all the inactive AIs, and we're going to be relying on you to give us absolutely crazy amounts of boost. Boost! At some point, you can offset your eco to the inactive AIs, and then you won't need to own your eco buildings.
Oh, that's not a bad idea, but that means we can't take them.
You can take them.
If there's enough...
You can just send it back to them afterwards.
Can you? Yeah, that's a good idea. And then they can overflow.
I think a few storages are going to be in order.
Yep. Alright, let's close this one out for the night. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to absolutely kick our asses, feel free. That is what we're hoping for tonight. We'd love to win. Don't get us wrong. We're gonna try to win, but the reality is that this is the community opportunity for All Reason versus the world, and for the world to show us how much they've appreciated King of the Hill by doing their best to absolutely destroy us. Bear in mind that if you don't like our content, you could help us win.
Speaking about liking content, if you do feel so kind, jump on the YouTube or the Twitch and just follow us if you want to watch this sort of stuff again. More to come in the future, and like Prey was mentioning about an hour ago, we've got the Road to OS 30 and beyond happening commencing Wednesday, where finally, when we originally started playing this game a couple years ago, we will be playing the journey together.
We did have a question from the chat just asking about the devs. So Seth D Gamer, Chris, J-Jack, Aurora, Tarnished Knight, Floris, Zephyr Strikes, and I do believe there was someone.
Chris.
There was someone else who wasn't on our list that joined us tonight, and I've.
Protor.
Yeah, Protor. Yeah.
Protor. Yep.
So they're the guys that joined us tonight. So if you do run into them, please do pass on your thanks. You can recognize players in game based on that plus sign. So that where we all have our ranking signatures, they will have a silver plus sign. So that one is good to know. Tarnished Knight wasn't here today. That is true, but he did help us set all of this up. He gave us the bios on players that were coming, as well as
that was Zeph. That was Zeph.
Oh, that was Zeph. Oh, apologies.
Yep.
But yes, Tarnished Knight.
But thank you to Tarnished Knight for what you do.
Yes.
I think he's in engine development.
Alrighty, let's kick this one.
I reckon I'm gonna start specking people so we can get going.
Unless we get a make ready and just kick it off. I do like that the numbers have dropped below 100 at least on this one, so we might get it.
We have a chance.
400 units each.
Yeah, and sorry, just while we've got everyone's attention as well, we are launching our Road to 30 starting this week. We decided to time it with our 1-year anniversary, so if you have enjoyed King of the Hill and you want to see us get better as players, please do jump in. Even if even if the 8v8s aren't your style, if you do jump in and watch that first video, leave a like, comment, and subscribe, it would mean a lot to us and would hopefully help us boost out our videos to more and more people. We do this for the community, but it would be nice to get some of the same viewership that that we see elsewhere in the community. Big shout out to Winter Gaming for featuring a King of the Hill game as well. That one came out earlier today, or actually it's probably coming up to 24 hours now, and hopefully that'll bring an entire new wave of people to play with us, which would be fantastic. Alrighty then, I don't remember my build order at all, but I do remember that it does involve building a vehicle lab instead of a bot lab.
You start on the left, don't you? And
I start on the left, Tom starts on the right, you start in the middle, and we do our best.
What surprised me last time we did this, I think it was more like against 60 players, and people hadn't played this very much either, is we didn't die straight away last time. We actually managed to get out. Now, there's a bit of a meta. We kind of suck, and the peasants don't.
Let's be honest, I am much more of a caster than I am a gamer these days.
I remember what we built last time isn't going to be near enough to stop it. But,
yes.
We will do what we can.
Yes, I feel like 10 minutes is going to be quite rough for us, but any longer than that, and we would just hit unit cap anyway.
410. Not going to be many.
So, all right, what have we learned? What do we need to think about? What do we need to do? So Twig, your Twig is taking. You're going to take all of the AIs. Hey, we have the Chrono AI.
We do.
Yes. So, for those of you wondering, this map is possible because of Chronographer. Lava was his project, and the map topography. King of the Hill would be in no way the same without him. Just in the same way that it wouldn't be the same without Nightmare, without Flo, without everyone that's helped us along the way.
I really don't know what to use here as a tactic. Maybe demons.
Demons and Karganeths are going to be.
We're going to get rushed.
We're going to get rushed. We're because I mentioned the 50 incisor thing. I feel like we're going to get 69 players, 50 incisors per. So I think there's going to be like 3,200 incisors at 10 minutes.
I remember the defenses that we had last time we did this, and based on where things are today, it's not going to be enough.
Now, back then there was no commie ecoing, maybe a little bit out of key players. Now it's almost all four corners have at least one or two commie ecos happening. You're talking T3 at around the 20-minute mark, and not in a small way either.
So just a heads up, there will be a force start at 550 seconds. But yes, the players have gotten significantly better, and
I'm relying on Tank Tom. He's actually every now and then practiced King of the Hill builds out of hours. I just go to sleep when I got spare time now.
Hashtag baby life.
I got to take these commanders. Not a good start.
Slash take. There you go. And they're nicely spread out, so you can grab all the mexes
Give
too.
them Mex commands.
Alright, gents, we're off to a good start. +8 metal already. This is going to be good. So, for those of you wondering, yes, wind is really good on this map, 2 to 20, but solar is also is very strong to start off with when you have a +100
When you've got metal
bonus.
to burn, solar's all the way to go.
Yep.
They may not be the most metal efficient, but we're more interested in time efficiency for this.
Yes, build
Have the
power
resource to spend it.
Build power is a
Time is-
huge problem.
Time is much more critical than metal, as long as you've got the metal.
Yep.
I think energy might be the problem soon.
Energy will be the problem soon.
You guys are taking all outside mixes, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah.
So if your comms are grabbing more, I won't say no to that.
Yeah. As long as we get all of the mexes, we can always redistribute later.
Yep.
Should we give each of you a com now?
I'm happy for you to hold on to them.
Yeah.
We're 2 minutes in, and I feel like I'm about 2 minutes behind.
Yeah. It's gonna be rough.
Oh, there's the
Metal
left
income
that I
is
was worried
high,
about.
though.
Yes.
How'd you guys not run out of power?
I built myself a storage and a handful of wins.
You're overflowing metal.
Must build metal storage.
Enemy commander destroyed.
Yeah, metal storage feels like a good idea.
Destroyed.
Am I giving you guys T2? No.
No, we have to build our own. It is not viable to do a handout of T2 anytime soon.
Enemy commander destroyed.
On the plus side, we do have 410 units each. That's a lot more than last game.
It's a few.
It is a few.
Could definitely be more.
Should we build mines, do you reckon? Oh,
They
too
take
much
up unit
cap.
cap. You can't.
Yep.
Unless I give them to a AI.
That's true.
That is.
But
what
the
I should do.
AI is inactive, so it will probably control them. Yeah,
You're low on power.
it'll work.
Need some energy.
Yes, energy. We've all suddenly become low on energy.
Commander destroyed.
And a
That was
bit
as if we've all
overflowing.
hit T2. And suddenly we're trying to power mexes.
Enemy commander destroyed.
Advanced souls for the win.
This is going to be tough. I do not know if I'm going to have enough.
Yeah, look, neither do I.
6 minutes left, boys.
You mean 4 minutes left?
Oh, that's not a countdown. That's a count up.
Yep.
Good one.
This is not good. This is not good.
Let's have to go next the world.
I messed up. I didn't reclaim my lab. That's a big mistake.
Enemy commander destroyed.
Why can I hear shots being fired?
Because there's probably shots being fired.
Gonna be entirely honest, I don't really have any capacity to look or think about much else at the moment.
Yeah, we're doing our best.
God, that's gonna be too ambitious.
Okay, we have an amount of defenses.
Wasting energy.
This is not the end. This is not the worst.
Enemy commander destroyed.
Yeah, guess I'm at every base. Cool. That's gonna be up. Nice. Come down.
I got bugger all defenses in the middle, guys.
Yeah,
What I don't
I've got
have is
bugger all defenses in a few places.
Something better than nothing.
probably build counter intrusion, I reckon.
Alright. Defenses are actually coming up. That's awesome.
Enemy commander destroyed. Lava level is dropping.
Oh god.
Yuck.
Okay.
Boy.
Oh, yuck.
Who's not ready?
Here we go.
I have 7 demons. Where are the immediate threats?
You know what I didn't build was radars.
Yeah, we're in trouble.
T2 unit detected.
T2 unit detected is not what I want to hear.
Yeah, not really. That's
You guys did good. You guys did very good.
We're not dead yet.
We're not dead yet. That's a win. Oh no, a comm just took out most of my army. And I'm not building.
There's a few ticks down there.
Oh dear. Yeah, that's a problem. The comms just come in and you're gonna have to take that whole twig.
Yep.
God, this is a lot of things. You don't like how much I threw at that ramp that all died.
Yes.
But on this ramp, that one, this one, that one.
Okay. I'm in trouble. Big, big trouble. Don't need more eco, I need more build power.
Where are we going? Where are we going? I know I'm just going to get D-gun, but I'll try and get through here
No,
anyway.
they've pushed down my top. They've pushed down over here.
Okay, I'm coming there.
No, not mines. Don't use our strategies against us. That's a terrible idea.
Somehow I'm out of eco.
I mean, that's better than us wasting it as a team.
Yeah.
This is definitely an APM problem. How are those demons going down the bottom?
They're pushing
Still
up.
getting through.
That's good.
Oh, there's
That's
the
good.
comms.
Oh
There's
yeah,
one comm there.
that's a.
That's
a
two
problem.
done. Oh, wow. Yeah. 3 comms dead at least.
Ah, damn it. That's another army gone. The comms are too strong.
Remember your counter intrusion, boys.
We can only fight with so many
Outside.
things. They're pushing through everywhere. We haven't had any. Oh no, the demons are doing well. Keep going, Twig. Keep going with the demons. Give them the next move command.
Oh no. We might actually clear out part of one corner, who knows?
That's good enough for me.
Push.
Push, push.
I'm at unit cap.
I'm at
Oh,
eco
no.
limits.
Give your stuff to the AIs. But as you can see, I've got quite a bit of spam in the base, and that's because I've just given it to the AI.
Yep.
How do I give to an AI?
Share it to the AI at the bottom, just like they're a player.
I don't have the icons for it.
Enemy commander destroyed.
That's right, I'll make do. I throw things at ramps and they'll die.
Oh, I might actually get one demon
Oh,
up here.
top right.
Top
That
right.
looks like
Oh
death.
god. Ladies and gentlemen, we have bitten off way more than we can chew.
Why is Melody's commander walking into the base and Yanami? Please don't.
Okay, they're dead. We're gonna cut them off.
Oh dear lord, there's too much. There's too much.
I do not like that
We're playing a defensive game and we need to play offense. Did I just hear T3 unit detected? Yes, yes there is.
Yeah,
Rosie's got T3 units.
Rosie did try and join our team before the game started. I feel like we should have
We
accepted
probably
that.
should have let that happen, but it wouldn't be all reason, no logic against the world if we included other players.
Yeah,
hey, we're
happy
not
to
dead
tie your
yet, so
hands.
I'm gonna call this a win.
Yep.
For us.
Hey, yeah, 16 minutes. Very nice.
16 minutes is good. 16 minutes is great.
There's Tom, go up and I follow. Oh, there's Emre.
Yep, we're going this way. Let me replenish some of that other stuff.
I need more eco. Badly.
As long as you're spending, it's fine.
This is going so badly.
The bottom right is dead, having said that.
That's awesome,
Yeah.
actually.
There's one demon still doing damage. Yeah,
So go deal with
Ah,
another
just-
lane then.
Yeah. That does need to happen. I feel like it's too late.
What do you mean? What do you mean it's too late? With one whole corner dead, we can devote our attention to elsewhere.
I mean, it's kind of dead. I need more. You can. Oh, look, that's an issue.
Chelsea, yeah, that is a big issue.
Oh dear.
No,
Oh dear.
no.
We have nothing in the middle that can deal with that.
I don't have any spam labs.
No.
I don't have any spam labs. Okay, resume what you're doing.
Okay, we've cleared that out. We're pushing. I'm starting to push up, though I'm being destroyed by fat boys from the high ground, which is not ideal. You know what we need? We need 3 pinpointers.
I've built them.
Oh, you already built them? Nice.
All over it.
I need
Why
build
are you over
power.
here, enemy? Tom, there's a com there.
Thank you. I was not looking at all.
Keep scaling, keep scaling.
Just keep scaling. Just keep scaling.
We have an open lane over here.
Yeah, I'm sending my units to try and deal with it. Thankfully, that spam that you've set up, like, under AI control, just to circle, very good idea.
It's working. It's working. So at the end of this game, you get to add all their damage dealt to my damage dealt, and that's the official score of the game.
No, Twig, no. Oh god, the top of the map needs help.
Yep, it does.
On it.
No, my demon died.
Oh, I forgot that I had all these demons building. This area should be just fine. Oh, that's what they're doing. They're eating all that stuff to fund their
They
huge
are.
ecos, and they're going to come and destroy us with our own shit, our own deficiencies.
I need to transition into some sort of other unit, but I don't know. But I don't feel like I have the economy to do it.
Yeah.
Hello, enemy.
Ah, here's the big push. It's coming to the middle.
Left side.
Yeah.
It's in my base.
That is not ideal.
No, there goes my build power. No. I have been crippled. Give me units.
Yeah, it will be. Don't you worry. I'm going to put these to Praedyth. Put these on Rome. So they keep building stuff.
Yeah.
And I'll give you eco as well.
This is turning into a problem, guys. Take those demons, push up, see what you can get done with them, Twig. Kill an eco corner.
One died. One died. I mean, I'm proud of one.
It's been left long enough that it's probably up again now.
I'm saying it with optimism, like we can maybe do another. We definitely can't, especially because my commander.
Right
yeah,
side's dead.
Yeah,
Bottom left is an issue.
I did not see that.
I'm sending my units to deal with bottom left best I can. It's not going super well, if I'm being honest. That's a lot of pulsars.
I should really have my own spam.
Oh, that's your units, Tom.
Yeah, not all of them are though.
Too many lanes.
Right,
There's a
come on,
Thor
more, that
down
should do
here.
anything. No. I got no builders around here either.
Hey, you've got the demons up.
Oh, yeah, I was totally microing them.
They're
might
coming.
survive.
Oh wow, that was a big.
Yes.
That was a big boom.
Yes.
What was that? A scuttle?
Here in the right. Yeah, there was a comm here as well. You just happened to be here at the right time.
We
Nice,
shall prevail.
No, J Frost, do not degun my demon. Damn it. Thought you were my friend. There we go. Second eco corner falling. No.
Nope.
Almost falling. Not the whole way. It's a valiant effort, boys. We are dying quietly. Not so quietly.
Thanks,
And
Tom.
then
You got the other eco corner. Get him.
Someone junoed our base. Oh,
You
well.
have enough. Well, I mean, we're not building. We're not building like spammable stuff.
Oh no,
anyway.
my T3. Whatever shall I do?
Oh, yeah. Turns out a commander being healed by like 15 T2 construction turrets is quite the powerful unit.
It is.
There's a bunch of
Or they need to
floors that
get
are
other
going to be
spam
coming
happening.
down here soon.
We're doing our best to hold,
more
but
Version.
they're getting closer and closer to the middle of the map.
I need another commander. What I want's one of those epic commanders.
Oh god.
Hint, hint.
In there.
Yeah, just it would be super useful if we each received epic commanders there, there, and there. That would help us a lot.
Oh, I'm about to lose my base, aren't I? I can hear it happening.
No. We're holding as best as we can. But I just saw a Vanguard shot. We're in big trouble.
Yeah.
We're in big trouble.
No, you're gonna fence it. That's fine.
Do I though? They're gonna get my conversion. Yeah, okay. You're wrong, Tom. Why were you wrong?
So what you I saw defenses and I was like, I'm gonna get the next wave.
Here comes the ticks.
I know you've got enough power to reclaim the ticks. No, we're totally holding. It's fine.
Yes.
Yes.
That's happening. Is this the zombies?
The zombies have risen.
Yes.
You guys heard about it earlier in the stream.
Is gonna be an issue.
Come on. Come on.
Rebuild,
Twig.
Don't work both ways. Okay.
Rebuild.
Focus.
We have a second to rebuild.
I have to build a T2 lab again. Oh, who built these? That's a lot of pawns. Thanks, Tom, for coming in.
Clean them up.
Is it gonna
Clean them up. Eat them. Eat them. No.
Oh, Tom, no, Tom, your stuff killed my stuff. I was reclaiming them.
They were gonna make it in anyway.
They were gonna make it in. Alright, the zombies have helped, but not enough. It's not enough.
Tom, just your commander. Hide him. Put him on invis.
Oh god, what?
No, they're into the second. They're gonna be into
Tom,
the second.
Your commander has to be put on invis and not be building, otherwise it's going to be seen.
All my build power just went pop, so I'm done.
It's
You gotta come. You can degun your way to a victory.
Yeah. Tom, take the comm into one of the eco corners. You can do it. We can still win this. One comm against the world.
Come at me.
Oh, it's been fun.
We tried. We tried.
Lasted about 16 minutes longer than I thought it might.
I mean, look, we're 27 minutes. That's pretty good. That's
Nicely
pretty good.
played, guys.
GG, everyone. GG, and very well played. Whoever put the fat boys up here, you did a very good job of defending. That was very good.
Let's look at them graphs, shall we?
Very nicely done, guys. Very nicely done.
Man, I hate seeing when you get some of those peasants that really deal a lot of damage. It's like, what are those other two lines? That was just the ring of inactive AOI spam.
Yeah, because we had limited unit cap, we just built buildings to send units around the map to defend us. Well, that was a fantastic event. Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight and for celebrating 1 year of King of the Hill. It's been an amazing journey, and it was wonderful to have all of you crush us at the end. Just like to have a massive shout out to the AllReasonNoLogic community. You guys join us on Wednesdays, Sundays. You keep the chat alive, and you keep us doing what we're doing. If you are interested in watching more King of the Hill videos, we put them up on Sundays. One should have gone live tonight-ish. We also do a Road to 30, which might become a Road to 35 OS on a Wednesday night. Big shout out to the devs for joining us tonight. They are gone now, but it did mean the world to us that they did come on to the stream. Big shout out to everyone who watches us as well. It is it's a huge boost to us just seeing everyone on here. 150 combined viewers, which is just phenomenal for something we dreamed up over a year ago. I've been chatting your ear off all night, so I'll leave the outro to Twig and Tank Tom. But thanks for joining us. Join us on our Discord. Join us on our Twitch, on our YouTube. Thanks for being there, for being part of this journey. I've been Pradith. Thank you very much.
Or you, Tom?
Yeah, as Precious was saying, thanks to everyone who's joined. It's great to be able to have this be a weekly community event. It's been much more successful than we were expecting it to be when we started off. So it's been fantastic to see how it's developed over the year, and I'm sure we'll keep doing it for quite a while longer yet.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. That wraps us up for our 1-year anniversary of King of the Hill with All Reason No Logic. Huge thanks to everyone who's played, watched, casted, the interviewees, the interviewer. Well done, Prey. And thank you all to keeping this format alive week after week. It started off as a bit of a random wild idea, definitely not copied from almost every RTS ever previously, King of the Hill. Somehow it's grown into one of the best parts of bar for myself personally. Getting that outlet in life, got the family, got work, way too much work, but I love to be able to come home at night and turn on bar and join Tank Tom and Prey. Get quite a bit of enjoyment out of that. So yeah, personally, thank you to everyone that jumps on King of the Hill, and also our Wacky Wednesdays and all those that watch our videos. And then thank you all for supporting the game as well. Such a brilliant game. Or Beyond All Reason. We'll be back next week with more madness or explosion and questionable strategies, because that's what King of the Hill is all about. I'm Twig, joined by Prey and Tank Tom. That's about it from me. Any last words, guys?
Newt Newt.
We will see you next week.
Beyond All Reason fans, welcome to King of the Hill by All Reason No Logic. Experience 2 or more teams facing off in epic scale warfare, where the Horde gang up on the Kings of the Hill. Kings start off with an economic bonus. They do their best to defend an onslaught after a no-rush timer expires. Test out your micro and defend against multiple players in variations of this game mode. Or be part of the masses. Team up with your allies to topple the throne in a glorious victory. All Reason No Logic, hosting King of the Hill lobbies, most Sundays. Join our Discord to be part of the action. See you in game, Commanders. Beyond All Reason fans, welcome to King of the Hill by All Reason No Logic. Experience 2 or more teams facing off in epic scale warfare, where the Horde gang up on the Kings of the Hill. Kings start off with an economic bonus. They do their best to defend an onslaught after a no-rush timer expires. Test out your micro and defend against multiple players in variations of this game mode. Or be part of the masses. Team up with your allies to topple the throne in a glorious victory.